sc1.org to learn more.
It's back to school season, and Clorox is donating 2 million disinfecting wipes to classrooms across America. Because back to school means things can get a little bit messy. Just ask second grade teacher Mr. Torres.
Put me and just one Clorox wipe on a team? We can take on crayon smudges, sticky fingerprints on every surface, sneezes on the door handle, juice box explosion by the sink, snack crumbs, and don't even get me started on the bathroom passes.
Clorox disinfecting wipes. Teacher's #1 wipe.
Think about it. Bathroom passes.
Clean feels good. Based on unit sales data.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Highs this afternoon will only reach the mid to upper 70s thanks to extra cloud cover and more chances for some brief showers. Into this weekend, some isolated showers and storms are possible. Otherwise, it'll be warmer with temperatures into the upper 80s by Sunday.
Weather report brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 233 points today to 44,201.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws, end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
He'll toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is third of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits! Game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Tim Donnelly. Max Gorin producing the show today, sitting in for Dennis. It's game day. It is game day. Carolina Panthers, Cleveland Browns. Tonight in Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium. It is game day. So I think you know where we're going to start off when we jump into our big 3 at 3. You know, sometimes I think the intro is a little over dramatic. You know, when it's the middle of a down period on the calendar and it's like bum bum.
No such thing as too dramatic for this show.
And then we jump in with like, well, 4-star is put UNC into their top 3. It's a little much.
Guys holding out are still holding out.
But today it feels right. Today, dum-dum. Panthers preseason game. Let's get to number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1 is the Panthers taking on the Browns tonight, and I'm going to set the table for you. Is it a preseason game? Yes. Does that mean the outcome doesn't matter? Absolutely. But if it didn't matter at all, they wouldn't play it. If it didn't matter at all, one of the big adjustments from year 1 to year 2 for Dave Canales wouldn't be playing the starters more in preseason than he did last year. It has to matter or else none of this would even exist. It has to matter. Not nearly as much as a regular season game, and the final score doesn't matter, but the things you are trying to accomplish do. And to set the table, the Browns not playing their starters. The Panthers are playing their starters. And just for confidence purposes, not just from us on the outside, but yes, partially for us on the outside, for our own confidence, look like starters against backups. Right? If you're out there playing and you're supposed to be a highly paid, super talented, highly drafted starter in the NFL, and you're going up against a third stringer from Cleveland, look like it. You're going to hear me say this throughout the show. You can hide playbook. Matter of fact, in the preseason, a lot of times you should hide playbook. Right? You shouldn't be using your bread and butter plays and putting them on film so other teams can prepare for it, right? Hide things. You can't hide physical superiority. You can't hide fast. You can't hide strong. Use those things, right? Use those. If you watch the preseason games last night and we'll react to them, you could tell who has a little bit of extra speed, a higher gear. And it's not like, oh, you know what? Now other teams are going to be prepared for that because you can't teach speed, right? You either have it or you don't. So, Robert Hunt, if you're in there, and you should be as the big, strong offensive lineman for 8 to 12 plays that we're expecting to get from the offensive starters, knock them off the ball. Be big, tall, and strong and powerful and open up a hole. Right? That's what I'm looking for. Even if it's I always use Zach Greinke as this example. Zach Greinke, pitcher, longtime pitcher, weird dude in Major League Baseball. There's a clip that goes viral every couple years where he was upset at something, frustrated, and he just stopped using catcher signals to call pitches and just started yelling to the catcher like, curveball. And the hitter heard it, and everybody knew what pitch was coming, and he threw it so well he struck the guy out anyway. That's how good you should be if it's starters against third stringers, even if it's the preseason. Bryce should be able to walk up and go, easy, 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 check, check. Halfback dive right behind that guy. Halfback dive on the left. Ike Ekwonu, one of the best run blockers as prospect in a long time going into the draft. That's why he went so high. Robert Hunt, one of the highest paid guards in the league. That's your left side. If you have Mitchell Evans, a tight end over there, you drafted him because he's a big, tall, strong, fast guy. You should be able to pick up yards there. Doesn't have to be, oh, it's a preseason, we're hiding things, we're going to have no success. Doesn't have to be that. That's number one in the Big 3-3. Let's get to number two.
Number two.
There's actually more than just the Panthers game going on tonight. There's also Drake Maye opening the season tonight versus the Commanders as the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Last year at this point, when we talked about Drake Maye going into his rookie year, he was drafted 3rd overall. Wasn't the starter. Didn't begin the regular season as the starter for the Patriots, which I at the time, I voiced my displeasure with. If you draft a guy that high, give him the keys, let him develop. But that means this preseason is the first preseason he's had as the guy. They've spent their entire offseason building around him. New coach, new coordinators, new players around him, right? They brought in Stephon Diggs. They drafted Will Campbell, the highest drafted offensive lineman in the draft. They brought in guys. Kyle Williams, a Washington State wide receiver in the 3rd round, right? They brought in guys to help Travion Henderson.
To me, it's a little reminiscent of Bryce Young's situation. A little extra, more time in the system, more comfortability, bringing in some new teammates and some new weapons to help you on both sides of the ball as well.
You're saying Bryce Young this year?
Yes.
Okay, not Bryce Young's going into a second year, although
it's pretty similar last year because the new coach last year and then the
offensive line help.
And he was the starter to start out with in his rookie year, but that whole thing was basically a wash.
Well, that's actually a great point. A lot of the tangible things that the Patriots have done for Drake Maye this year are very similar to what they did for Bryce going into his second year, right? They brought in a bunch of offensive line help, high-priced offensive line help, brought in a new coach, brought in like a new everything, right? That's what they did for last year, and it took most of a season for Bryce Young to see the benefits of it. Drake Maye, I don't believe, should or will take that long. But you got to get done what you have to get done in the regular season. Nights like tonight have to be either confidence builders or lesson learners, right? You either have to go in, look great, get in, get out, get on with life, or make a mistake that you won't make again. I'm very fascinated to see what it looks like when he is the dude for an entire offseason because he stepped in as a guy off the bench and looked like the dude last year with darn near nothing around him. That's number two. Let's hit number three.
Number 3.
There were also games last night in the NFL. I gave you a hint of what to look for as far as local connections, and there some of those guys did well, some of those guys did not. Let's dive in. Keaton Mitchell is back. ECU running back. Showed flashes as a Baltimore Raven running back early in his career, then suffered a pretty brutal injury. First time he was back completely cleared, ready to roll yesterday. Darn good performance.
Yeah, and he is fast.
You want to talk about one of those guys who, like I said, like you can't hide speed, you can't hide physical ability. You watched it and just went, oh, he's different. Right, and especially because Lamar Jackson wasn't playing and Mark Andrews wasn't playing and Zay Flowers, like the Ravens did hold back a lot of their starters. It felt like one slipped through the cracks. Now, obviously, their starter is Derrick Henry, but it felt like somebody that should have been sitting out with the starters made his way out there. Just grabbed a helmet and went to play, only it was Keaton Mitchell. So shout out to ECU.
Keaton Mitchell feels so much like a guy in fantasy football where it's like it's week 11 and your like second and third string running backs are both on bye, and then another guy's hurt. You're like, oh gosh, who can I get off waivers? Oh, Keaton Mitchell.
Or you pick him up randomly because you have a bench spot, and then Derrick Henry tweaks a shoulder and misses 2 weeks, and you have like the third best running back in the league over those 2 weeks. Then when Derrick Henry comes back, you're like, no. Keaton Mitchell's he's a stud, and ECU fans, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Daniel Jones, Duke quarterback for the Colts, got probably a little bit more run than they were expecting because Anthony Richardson completely missed a protection and got lit up. Not only did he miss a protection call, but then he was like super confident in the protection and stood there like, just looking for a receiver downfield and got lit up. His pinky dislocated, which means Daniel Jones went into the game and stayed for a while. I wouldn't say job's complete. Daniel Jones won. He looked sharp. And there were a couple drops that made his stats look not as good as they should be. But as far as the competition between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, if you are looking at who's going to win games for you right now, Daniel Jones grabbed a lot of space, made up a lot of ground last night. NC State fans remember Devin Leary. He struggled with a lot of opportunity as the quarterback for the Ravens. Not many starters playing, but didn't. You hate to be too rough on a guy who hasn't played much in the NFL, but it was a tough one for him. Didn't give Tez Walker. I'll put it this way: Tez Walker, second-year wide receiver out of UNC, didn't have a chance to make many plays, even though a few times it felt like he should have, because the quarterback simply wasn't on target. And then as just generic observations, the Bengals starters look bananas. Jamar Chase, apparently, he's in mid-season form. Joe Burrow was dicing. Jordan Moore from Duke had 2 catches for 2 yards on 3 targets, so not a lot there. But he's at the end of the bench, and at least they got 3 targets, right? They're trying to get him the ball. And Ashton Genty had 3 carries for -1 yard. So really puts that Hall of Fame game performance by Omarion Hampton into a little bit of perspective, huh? You could be the top of the top guys. If that O-line doesn't block for you too well, or you make one bad decision, you can end up with negative yards on 3 carries. The O-line for Vegas looked very, very, very poor.
Yeah, I mean, he played like 8 snaps. It is what it is.
3 carries, though.
I don't know
both
if anyone's.
Of them 3 carries.
I don't know if anyone's expecting the Raiders to be all that dangerous this year. But
I actually like that he broke a tackle. He broke a tackle to only lose like 2 yards on one of the carries, but it was an instinctive little spin move. There's again. He's good, but running backs need offensive line, just like so many other positions. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's a little rundown here on the Big 3 at 3. So much of the preseason, we just brought it up, right? You talk about guys like Ashton Genty. You talk about guys like Omarion Hampton. Talking about the rookies. What do you expect from the Panthers rookies tonight? Headlined by Tetairoa McMillan, the 8th overall pick. I'll tell you what you should expect, or at least hope for, coming up.
Stitches, itches, aches, and pains. Strep and sinus, minor sprains. Pink eye, earaches, fever, flu. Virtual visits, physicals too. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
Hey, it's Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. The Sign and Save sales event is happening now at Clayton Homes and Oakwood Homes, but only through August 31st. You can save up to $5,000 instantly on your new home. That's $2,500 off a single section or $5,000 off a multi-section home. Discover the comfort, the style, and the value of a Clayton-built home, crafted with North Carolina in mind. From modern floor plans to energy-saving upgrades and premium finishes, there's a home fitting your lifestyle and, of course, your budget. And with summer heating up, it's the perfect time to enjoy energy-smart features for year-round comfort and savings. Stop by, tour our fully furnished models, or visit manufacturedhomeoffers.com and browse limited-time deals. But don't wait. The Sign and Save sales event ends August 31st. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating retailers through 8/31. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and that cool, refreshing Mountain Dew. Yes, give me my good friends. Give me a dew.
Grab some ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Hurry into Family Fare and get 2 20-ounce bottles of ice-cold Mountain Dew for just $4.29. Family Fare, first in thirst.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Smooth coming out of break. All right, here's how it goes. Tonight, Panthers preseason game against the Browns. It's Teteroa McMillan's debut in an NFL game. It's preseason, but it's I'm sure it feels real. It's a dress rehearsal, right? The uniforms are real. The stadium is real. The fans are real. I was watching the games last night, and I don't know what you're supposed to do as an announcer, but like a young guy scores or a young guy gets an interception, and the announcers, his first touchdown in an NFL game. And I'm like, well, all right, yeah, because what are you supposed to do? Like, you don't want to downplay the moment. His first touchdown in an NFL game that nobody will remember because it's preseason, but it looks cool. So I acknowledge that this isn't like the true debut, but also I acknowledge that the preseason might not be more important for any group of players more than the rookies. And Teteroa McMillan and the rest of the Panthers rookies have a chance to earn more responsibility, build more confidence in themselves from within, like their self-confidence and team confidence. The thing that Teteroa McMillan has done a really good job throughout camp of is flashing the stuff that makes him special often enough to combat the plays that make you worry. Right? He has a day like the Fan Fest where apparently anyone that he went up against was pretty much able to jam him at the line of scrimmage and make his day difficult. But for every one of those days, he has a couple days where he's making tough catches in the end zone, where he's taking those same players that were able to jam him up at the line and making highlight catches over them down the field in different scenarios. I hope that continues tonight. I, by no reason, expect a perfect night from Teteroa McMillan. We might think it is, right? Because if he only plays 8 to 12 plays or whatever the starters play, right, 1 or 2 drives, he might only have 2 passes thrown his way. If he catches them both, it'll seem perfect. But I guarantee you, if that wide receiver coach watches the film, he'll find plenty that he did wrong. I don't expect perfect. But I would like enough of the special to outweigh the non-perfect. And here's the other thing that comes with those special plays. I want, in this offense, based on his ability to make something out of nothing, his ability to catch passes that shouldn't be caught, his ability to make a catch, and he did this on like the first day of practice, may have even been minicamp, where he caught it and instinctively, like he didn't have time to think, it just happened, caught a crossing route, spin, jamming the circle button for those of you that play PlayStation. Hit the spin move as soon as he caught it, made the guy miss, got upfield for yak. His ability to do those sorts of things makes me want McMillan, to be Bryce Young's safety blanket. Right? When it's 3rd down and 12 and the game is near the end, or it's 4th down and 12 and the game is near the end, and you realize, all right, I don't have any great options here, which happens as a quarterback, right? Nobody's wide open. Or when the play was designed to be open, I had to scramble so I couldn't get the pass off. Now I need to give somebody a chance. I want that to be Teteroa McMillan. But the only way for Bryce to have that same instinctive decision-making to look towards him first is if over time McMillan makes more of those plays. Right? You throw him a 50-50 ball, he makes the catch. You throw him a 50-50 ball, he makes the catch. You throw him a 50-50 ball, he makes the catch. Now, like, your brain is trained in those high-pressure moments. All right, I'm going to have to throw someone a 50-50 ball. How about I go to this guy who catches them most often? That can happen in the preseason. Or even this. I threw a bad ball, and he became a defensive player and knocked it down rather than letting it get intercepted. So now I can trust him to have my back. I'll be more comfortable throwing it to him. Dave Canales, the head coach, talked about the connection between Bryce Young and Teteroa McMillan.
I love the chemistry that they're developing. I think that, especially down the field, Bryce has been giving, T-Mac a lot of opportunities, a lot of shots down the field to figure out where can I put this, where he's going to be able to get his hands on it, and on the play that he had a touchdown that he dropped today, and he was kind of running a corner route, and Bryce kind of, instead of leading him to the back pylon, Bryce kind of threw it right behind the defender, and I think that was a new one. For T-Mac, because he was like, oh, shoot, this is a good spot for it. Bryce kind of saw it. So I was excited about that. Bryce turned around to me. We're both smiling, and we would love him to catch that ball. He will. But I love just taking those attempts down the field just because it's just the me to you factor, learning new skill players within our scheme.
You make tough catches in preseason. The coach and quarterback will trust you to make tough catches in the regular season. So that's where, does if you win the preseason matter? No. But if Teteroa McMillan makes a couple plays or makes a play or doesn't make those plays, that could impact how things are play called down the line, especially if you're up against, no offense to whoever the Browns are, players that are just not physically there as far as talent level with Teteroa McMillan, right? If the Browns aren't playing their starters, McMillan as the 8th overall pick should be some level above them. Other rookies, Nick Scorton, if he plays, he's been battling a bit of an injury, but I believe he practiced on Wednesday, so maybe he gets a limited run, not sure. 2nd-round pick edge rusher. And Princely Umanmielen, the 3rd-round edge rusher they drafted. I'm looking for their physicality to pop, right? They were drafted for their physical traits in a lot of ways, Scorton being kind of powerful and speed, and then Princely with even more speed. I want to see him pop. Who knows how many opportunities they'll get, but if there's a pass rushing situation where they get to pin their ears back and they're on the field, I expect them to collapse the pocket. That's why they were picked. And also that's the thing that requires the least amount of transition. In basketball, Max, I know you're a big NBA guy. Notoriously, I don't know if it's still the truth, but right when the analytics movement was brand new in basketball, I remember this was a Paul Millsap stat, so Louisiana Tech. They learned that one, they called them the stickiest. One of the stickiest stats was rebounding. If you were a great rebounder in college, that translated at a very high probability compared to other sports or other stats. So Millsap, even though he was in whatever it was, the WAC at the time, was rebounding like a madman. And then he got to the NBA and pretty much immediately was able to rebound, and that sparked this whole thing on this stat doesn't take a lot of adjustment, but assists do, because point guard's got to figure out the new game, the faster defenders, and everything else.
It's kind of the same thing with a lot of prospects when it comes to shooting. People say it's better to look at their free throw percentage instead of their three-point percentage, because the free throw percentage is a better indicator of shooting success in the future.
I would think if you look at college edge rushers, like the pure get after the quarterback, that translates because there's not a lot of thinking there, right? There's not a lot of memorizing a new system. See ball, get ball is see ball, get ball, and from Pop Warner all the way on up. Beat the guy in front of you, get after the quarterback. I want to see that. Trevor Etienne, 4th round pick. This one, and running backs are all this way. Most running backs, especially if you're drafted, you have something special about you with the ball in your hands. You have good instincts, you have speed, you can catch, right? Whatever your thing is, you're pretty good at it, right? Or else you wouldn't have been drafted. It's actually very difficult to get drafted as a running back. So fourth round pick running back, you do something very well with the ball in your hands. The thing that gets you on the field more often is how good are you in pass protection? How good are you in knowing who you should be blocking in pass protection? How willing are you to throw your body between a freight train and the quarterback? You make those mistakes, you're not going to get on the field no matter how good you are as a runner. So Etienne, I would love to see a highlight run or two, but really it's about the other details first and then how good you are with the ball in your hands. Elsewhere, Lathan Ransom, Mitchell Evans, that's a safety, fourth round pick, and a tight end, 5th round pick. Go get that job, right? There are routes to be. There are routes. I'm talking Mitchell Evans for the tight end. There are routes. There are snaps. There are blocking reps. Ransom, I don't know who's going to be the free safety. For the majority of the season for the Panthers.
That's a position group where you could make a really big impact because they're pretty thin at safety. So if you can put some good tape out there, that could be really good heading into the season.
Show you're a gamer, right? And as much as coaches say, we're going to evaluate everything, like if you're great in the 3 preseason games, it's very hard to say, yeah, but you haven't been as good on Wednesdays. It's if you're great in the games, you'll probably get a shot in the real games. Cam Jackson, big guy, 6th round pick, defensive tackle. Trust your power. You're big and strong. Just continue to do that. We probably won't notice many interior defensive line reps. Jimmy Horn Jr., 6th round pick.
He's the one I'm most excited to potentially see.
Keep making plays. He's having his moment right now in camp as a wide receiver. But really, I want to see him get going if he gets a chance to return. Punt return, kick return. His teammate, LeJontay Wester at Colorado, they were all at Colorado with Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Wester returned a punt for a touchdown yesterday for the Ravens. It felt as he was running, just made the roster, just took the return job, right? Like now he starts with an opportunity to have the ball in his hands a couple times a game, week 1 as a rookie. You make a run like your teammate. You make that move, you return a kick for a touchdown, you get a 60-yarder to set the team up on in the red zone, something like that. You could legitimately guarantee yourself a role week 1. And he's fast and all that, so there's other things to be excited about. The Panthers preseason game tonight versus the Browns. That's just rookies. That's all we're looking for just from the rookies. And that's not even including undrafted rookie free agents, just the draft picks. Who says preseason doesn't matter? There's so much going on.
Live coverage of that game available on our sister station, Mix 101.5, pregame starting at 6 o'clock.
There you go. So do not leave a minute before the end of this show, but then you can go over there and catch the pregame. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up next. And I will tell you this. I have a quote that I had to check 3 different sources to make sure it was real. And it's going to be a part of our Dean's List. Stick around.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. One thing you need to make sure with your motorcycle that you do is properly store your bike. If you have a garage, obviously keep it in there, but if you can't, make sure you keep it covered. Keep it out of the elements. We got a lot of moisture, got a lot of rain runoff. Take care of your motorcycle, and it will take care of you. But accidents, unfortunately, do happen, and this is where Law Tigers steps in to help you. Law Tigers are part of the motorcycle riding community. They know what your bike is worth, they know what your gear is worth, but most importantly, they know what you're going through after an accident. That's why your case evaluation is always free with Law Tigers, and they don't get paid a dime until your case settles. So make sure you contact them even before you contact the insurance companies, because insurance companies, they want to pay you the least amount possible. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Again, 1-800 1-800-LAW-TIGERS is the number to call, or you can always visit them online, lawtigers.com. Again, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
That'll be 30 even.
That's 90 points! Sorry, that was a lot. Now that I'm getting 3 times the points on food and fuel with the Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card, I get a little too hyped sometimes.
Cool. Would you like your receipt?
In the bag! Sorry, in the bag, please.
Learn more about the everyday, everywhere Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Most people in radio commercials talk really fast. But we made this one for RV owners. Progressive knows they like the slower pace of RV life. Like this commercial. And they know Progressive will protect their RV at a fair price with discounts. Now here comes the best part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Everybody, it's a Friday. There's football tonight. Carolina Panthers, Browns. The weather's supposed to get a little better this weekend. Don't quote me, I'm not a meteorologist, but at least it's not supposed to be pouring rain like it's been all week. It should be a good one. You should have a positive attitude. You should be in a good mood right now. I am. And with that, I'm in the mood to give out some praise and accolades. Let's get to the Dean's List. This is where we give a few extra accolades, a little extra praise, as I mentioned, to those directly or indirectly related to the sports world. Now, I have 2 kind of serious ones, and one that I can only describe as absolutely ridiculous. So, Max, choose your own adventure. Would you like a serious or absolutely ridiculous?
I assume we're going to get both, but we'll start with the serious, and then we'll get to the ridiculous.
NC State Athletics and the people that dole out the cash for NC State. NC State Athletic Director Boo Corrigan spoke to the media today, and he used the term all in when it comes to fully funding the $20.5 million that schools are allowed to revenue share with their players. That's the one part that I don't know if it's been talked about enough. We all hear this revenue share. It's legal now. Schools can pay players. It's legal now. They can pay $20.5 million roughly to their athletes. $20.5 million. They can. There's a big difference between can they and will they. There's going to be a lot of schools out there that are, we can give you 14. We can give you close. We can get you close. We can get you to 17 million. When schools commit the full 20.5, that's like the bare minimum if you want to compete at a high level, right? You gotta be all in on everything you're allowed to spend on players, and then probably help with the fundraising for endorsements and everything else that players can use to financially benefit. But you got to be all in. So it's kind of like, hey, at least you're all in there on the 20.5. Way to go, State. We'll do one more serious before we get to the absolutely ridiculous. Justin Jolie, tight end, NC State. The John Mackey Award watch list came out today. John Mackey Award goes to the nation's best tight end at the end of the college football season. And on the watch list, there were 9 ACC tight ends. One of them plays for a school in the state of North Carolina. Justin Jolie, NC State. Transferred in last year from UConn, had a solid season. I think he's due for a bigger one. I've been talking about him a lot because He's one of my like picks to break out this year. If you're wondering who the other ACC tight ends were, it's kind of crazy. There are 2 from Florida State, Randy Pittman Jr. and Landon Thomas. There are 2 from SMU, Matt Hibner and RJ Maryland. Miami, Elijah Lofton. Boston College, Jeremiah Franklin. Sam Roush from Stanford and Benji Gosnell from Virginia Tech. Again, I think there's a couple others that we have some more interest in covering that could be on that list, but Justin Joly definitely should be. So Justin Joly ends up being on the John Mackey Award watch list. Congratulations. We've kind of been highlighting the players that are on these watch lists and the Dean's list throughout the last week and change. And now here on the Dean's list with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan, we get to an absolutely ridiculous. When I saw this headline, I actually went, am I reading an Onion article? Is this some kind of satirical piece? But for giving us the content, for giving us the laugh, Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend. I have the latest. So there is a podcast called The Sports Gossip Show. And I promise you, I'm going to do my best to tell this in a way that makes sense. The Sports Gossip Show is a podcast hosted by 2 women named Charlotte and Madeline. I'd never heard of it before, but they did just sign with The Athletic, so they are a big podcast. Credit to them. They have been aggressively on the Jordan Hudson beat, okay? When many have kind of, I don't know, like probably us, right? Like you mention it, you crack some jokes, and then you realize it's getting, I don't know, more serious than that, and you just kind of move away from it, try to talk football. They've stuck to it, so much so that they actually traveled to the Miss Maine pageant that Jordan Hudson finished second runner-up in, whatever, a couple months ago. They've been talking, and they've been trying to get in touch with Jordan Hudson. Jordan Hudson called them. Now, she didn't agree to an on-air report or on-air interview, but they talked a lot. They talked for over an hour at one point. They were on a FaceTime for over an hour. They talked. The initial call was 37 minutes. They put out a podcast. I listened to the whole thing. You can go if you want more context. But do you know how Jordan Hudson introduced herself? The first call, the first time they had ever talked. Hello? Is this so-and-so? Yes, it is. Who am I speaking to? She said, it's Jordan Hudson, the president of your universe. And that is a direct quote. According to Charlotte of the Sports Gossip Show. The first call, who are you? Who is this? It's Jordan Hudson, the president of your universe. Now, I'm going to give full context here because after listening to their entire podcast, apparently when they did travel to the Miss Maine pageant, at one point they were interviewed about the experience of watching Jordan Hudson by someone else, and she referenced it as it's kind of like seeing the president when you're a kid because it's someone that you like have talked about a lot but you've never seen in person, and then you see her. So they thought it may have been a callback to it's like seeing the president, which I guess makes it a little bit less weird. But the question, it got more and more. I don't want to judge Jordan Hudson because I've never talked to her. She's never called me.
Not yet.
Many of the quotes that they attributed to Jordan Hudson, if they were said, and you know they kept calling themselves journalists in this podcast. I don't know them, but they called themselves journalists and reporters a lot. So if they're backing that up, apparently Jordan Hudson had 3 questions during the original call. The first 2 were about opinions that they've shared on the pageant. Like, why did you say, somebody else would benefit more from the prize that they won? Like, just questions about the pageant. The third one was, why didn't you report that the winner of the Miss Maine pageant was not from Maine? She was the third runner-up. Remember that, Jordan Hudson. Why didn't, that is, I am the main character of everybody's movie level questioning, right? I have two more for you, okay, and then I'll move on because it's just entertainment to me, and again, I don't like judging people I don't know, but it's hard not to. At one point in time, she had called just Charlotte. And remember, the two hosts are Charlotte and Madeline. She had called just Charlotte. And Charlotte said, you know what? At this point, you're asking a lot of questions about our podcast and our reporting, and I don't feel comfortable talking about this without Madeline here because some of the things you're asking about, she said and not me. Why don't we put this on ice and we'll come back when Madeline, me, and you can all talk. And Jordan Hudson's comment was, Madeline is going to flip when you tell her that I called. That is such I am the main character of everyone's movie energy. At one point, I did some research here, and that a couple minutes of Googling. At one point, she said, I love that on your podcast you said that I'm Bill Belichick's Tree Payne because I am. Do you know who Tree Payne is?
I don't.
Tree Payne is apparently very famous. She has hundreds of thousands of followers on most social medias. She's the publicist of Taylor Swift.
That makes a lot of sense.
I loved that you said I'm Bill Belichick's Tree Payne because I am. Jordan Hudson FaceTimed with these two reporters for an hour and a half. And by the end, again, they're reporting, not me. She was screaming and crying at them while criticizing their coverage of the Miss Maine pageant. What do you do with this? I don't know. But it's an additional piece of content.
What was the name of this show?
The Sports Gossip Show.
Sports Gossip Show.
And it's on, it's now, and she was apparently going to do an interview with them. But when they said, hey, actually, we just signed with The Athletic, she hates The Athletic. She doesn't like the way they've covered her and Bill Belichick. So they were like, that pretty much ended all possibilities of an interview officially taking place. So then they said, like, well, we're going to talk about all of the interactions we've had. We have to, right? Because it would be weird for us to continue talking about you and Bill Belichick without everybody knowing that we've spent, 4 hours on the phone with you.
Doesn't seem like she's the biggest fan of most media outlets.
Well, she's just like Taylor Swift's publicist.
Jordan, you're welcome anytime on our show, 919-860-5326. Sometimes I forget the number, but...
Hey, call back in. You can reach out to us on social media however you want to. I had come with no preconceived notions. I only know what has been reported / attributed to you, and if those quotes aren't real, I would love to have you settle the score right here on The Drive.
To her credit, until you mentioned this in Dean's List, I had actually not heard any news on Jordan Hudson for a little while. So
I agree. I didn't either.
If her goal was to kind of just fade a little more into the background and not cause as many stories, she's done well at that recently.
Or have we become numb to the reporting done? I think if that quote, it's Jordan Hudson, the president of your universe, if that hit like 3 months ago, gangbusters.
Which is interesting, too.
That's leading like the Today Show.
It's interesting, too, because we're in early August right now, and in terms of sports, there's like very little going on, but it's just not making as much of a wave as it was in that kind of period a few months ago when Jordan Hudson was all the rage.
It's just as crazy as it could be already. We'll take a break. When we come back, Joel Bryant, high school OT, joins us to talk about the high school OT Jamboree and all of the future college stars that'll be participating. Stick around. But before we do that, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. We just talked about getting used to something, right? Something could be so crazy, but if you hear it enough, if you're exposed to it enough, you get used to it. It's called maybe taking it for granted, right? You're just used to it. It's just always there. Things like your house being warm in the winter, cool in the summer. Things like your toilet always flushing. Things like you flip a switch, boom, light at nighttime. But when those go away, when those break, when those aren't working, yeah, you really notice, right? And all those years you took it for granted, all those years your house was just humming along, well, you look back at them longingly. Well, for Maynard Service Company, you don't have to miss it very long. Give them a call when something goes wrong, and you can jump right back in to taking it for granted, right? That's all you want. That's all. It's hot outside. I want my air conditioner to work, and I don't want to have to think about it. I just want to enjoy the cooler air. Manor Service Company gets you right back to that point in thinking. 919 is the. I'll give you the number now, just instead of just screaming random numbers at you. I will tell you. It is a telephone number. 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or visit them online at ManorServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. Joel from High School OT joins us in studio next.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. It's that time of year, folks. Back on the open road, taking a cruise on the motorcycle, but there's always that risk when you're on the bike. That's why you got to contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, even before you contact your insurance company. Insurance companies pay the least amount possible. Law Tigers, they're riders too. They know what your bike and your gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football, preseason football starts tonight for the Carolina Panthers. And in a lot of ways starts for high school. There's like the same ceremonial start this weekend. It is the high school OT Jamboree. And to talk to us about the details and who's going to be there and how exciting it is, we have Joel O'Brien. I don't know where I was going there. It's like OT. O'Brien.
I am Irish, but not that Irish.
Joel O'Brien. No, it's Joel Bryant from high school OT joining us in studio. Appreciate it, Joel. And I promise I do know your name. But I do need some info from you. Like high school OT Jamboree this weekend. It's not full games, but there's a ton of teams. Is your microphone not working? Go ahead and try to turn it on. Oh, I can hear you. It's on. It's just the light's not on.
The light's not on?
Yep.
Okay.
Just assume that it's on.
Okay. I'm glad you can hear me.
Lesson in radio, everybody. Every mic is hot. Okay. Tell us what the Jamboree is. Like, what is it? How long it's been going on, and why should we be excited for it?
So this would be the 17th version of it, but we had 2 years off because of COVID. But basically, we just get top high school teams around the area. They come in, and then we do scrimmages that are as close to a real game as possible. We have teams in their full uniforms. We have chain gangs. We have officials. We try to make it feel like a real game as much as possible. The coaches like that kind of atmosphere because you can really learn more about your players in that kind of setting than you can in practice. So, yeah, it's 2 24-minute running clocks and all the same rules, except we're not live in kicking situations. There's no punting and no live field goals and point after touchdown attempts. But, yeah, besides that, everything feels like a real game.
So it is. I mean, I was kind of joking around, but it feels preseason, right?
Yeah.
Like it gives the coaches a chance to, get one under their belt before the bullets are metaphorically live and the wins and losses count.
Yeah, and for a lot of these kids, this is their first chance, playing in front of a big crowd. I mean, some of these kids are coming from JVs where they didn't really have those big crowds, but we're going to have thousands of people there, and it's going to be a different kind of environment than they're used to. So you can see how they kind of respond to that, and they'll tell you a lot.
Joel Bryant, high school OT, in studio with us here on The Drive, talking about the high school OT Jamboree. We'll say this a few times throughout, but where and when?
Yeah, Wake Forest High School tomorrow night, starting at 5 o'clock. We have games at 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Hopefully we'll be out by 10, but we're praying for that. But, yeah, so we have 5 games, and they all start at the top of the hour, and they run 24-minute running clock halves, and they should be done by each hour.
So much of like if you're going because you have a kid at the school, kid on the team, you know somebody, you're supporting the local, that's one thing. But also, you can see a lot of future studs, future college athletes if you show up kind of all in one place, right? You'd have to put a couple 100 miles on the old odometer to see all of these guys in a high school weekend. What future players should we be watching as far as college prospects, and particularly as they are related to maybe some of the local schools in the ACC and things like that?
Yeah, so we have a lot of ACC commits. I'll start with the school everyone thinks about. ACC first is Stanford. We have a 6'6" edge rusher from Southeast Raleigh named Keyshawn Eliezer. He's a Stanford commit. He told me that Andrew Luck was one of his primary recruiters, and that's just wild.
That'll work. I get it now.
Yeah, it's just wild. Imagine watching this guy tear up the NFL. He retires early, and then all of a sudden he's recruiting you. That's a pretty cool feeling. So he's going to be there. He's going to be at 9 o'clock game for Southeast Raleigh versus Millbrook. Then Rollsville High School, they have 3 UNC commits on that team. There's 2 seniors. They're brothers. One's an edge rusher, Xavion Griffin-Haynes, and his brother, Jaden Griffin-Haynes, who's a linebacker. They're both UNC commits, and they just got a commit in 2027 class, which is a running back named Amir Brown, 4-star running back, so he's a good player. So UNC has 3 guys coming from Rollsville. And then Southeast Raleigh, they have another ACC player. They have a junior running back, Christian Freeman, committed to NC State last month.
So there you go. This is one of my nerdy questions. I don't know if everybody else finds this as interesting as I do, but it is one of the things that I love talking about. You said 15th annual would have been the 17th if you didn't have to shut a couple down for COVID.
Yeah.
What big names have played in the past? Like who are the dudes that were like, oh, because part of you mentioning the Griffin Haynes and Amir Brown and these guys, it's like, okay, they're good, but could they turn into bananas, right? Could they develop into something special? Can you give us some of the bigger names that have played in the Jamboree?
Well, Dexter Lawrence, Bryce Love, Naheem Hines, I believe, played in the Jamboree.
There you go.
Yeah, it's pretty much every good player has come through Wake County over the past decade or so has been in the Jamboree because we do a good job of getting the top teams and top players in it.
So literally, you could be watching the next Dexter Lawrence.
You could be.
Who is?
I don't know if there's a Dexter Lawrence here, but yeah, he could be.
You never know, right? Maybe a freshman Dexter Lawrence that hasn't quite
don't
popped
know about
yet.
Him. Yeah,
exactly. Maybe you might see the breaking out game of the next
possible.
Dexter Lawrence. And if you're unfamiliar with interior defensive line in the NFL, Dexter Lawrence, I mean, top 1 or 2 interior defensive linemen in the league for the Giants, making $100 million contract, and would have been right there in the mix.
Yeah.
I'm a quarterback nerd. I read the article. By the way, everybody check it out, highschoolot.com. You can also see an article on WRALSportsFan.com. There's a lot of kind of cross coverage going on about the Jamboree. But if I want to go, get my notebook out and watch some quarterbacks, there's some good ones there.
Yeah, all these teams have good players, starting with Gannon Jones, quarterback Cardinal Gibbons. He's a Wake Forest commit, Wake Forest University, not Wake Forest High School.
It is ridiculous you have to make that distinction, but you do now.
I do. We get lots of transfer announcements in high school nowadays.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but he's a very good quarterback. He's
the Demon Deacons. There you go.
Yeah, he's over 70% completion for his career. Just a really, really accurate passer. Looking forward to seeing him. And all these teams have an interesting quarterback. Millbrook High School, they have a quarterback named Bryson Gray, first-year starter, but he holds an offer from UNC.
Wow.
So
first year, has he? So just off like JV tape?
I guess, yeah.
Wow, and camps?
I've never seen him play in a varsity setting or a major setting, so I'm very fascinated to see that. Rollsville has a transfer quarterback from Holly Springs who put up big numbers last year. Corinth Holders, they have a 2,000-yard passer back. All these schools seem to have a good quarterback, so that's why one of the main reasons why I'm excited about it.
As somebody that worked very hard to get scholarship offers and had to walk on out of college, how the heck do you get one before you even played varsity?
The Southern Durham quarterback, his name is Tyson Broadway. His first offer came from Georgia Tech. That was off of freshman varsity film. So he's another player to watch.
It's also like I'm joking there, right? Obviously, the very, very good players are noticeable, just off camps and things like that. But I think that does show the respect around the country for the high school football played in this area.
Yeah.
Right? I think everybody goes Texas, California, Florida, maybe even something like the Tidewater area in Virginia. Around here produces darn near as many like per capita studs at the next level as anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's smart of high school OT to throw something like a Jamboree where you get as many of them as possible onto one field for one night. So, you can kind of check a lot off if you're a recruiter.
Yeah, I mean, just the state has so many star players every year. We have multiple guys going in the first round of the NFL draft. The state is really, really good for football, and I think a lot of colleges notice that, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why Bill Belichick wanted to come here, because it's a hotbed for recruiting right now.
I mean, obviously UNC's kind of building this Rollsville to UNC pipeline. You brought up the 3 commits.
Yeah, they have a kid there now, Xavier Lewis. He's on the defensive line. He has a chance to play early as a freshman at UNC, and he just came from Rollsville. They told me that was Belichick's first stop, his first ever recruiting stop. He watched a few plays of Xavier Lewis, and he's like, how do I get that kid this late in the process? And they managed to pull it off.
I'm just thinking if I'm in my 70s, and I don't know exactly what it feels like to be in your 70s, but I'm imagining if I could build a pipeline to a school that's like a 45-minute drive rather than like a plane or a longer drive, that just seems more attractive to me. So if there's good players nearby, I'd be all in on those. Do you get and I know this wouldn't be the reason why you go, but it's always kind of cool to see. Do you get a ton of college coaches showing up to an event like this where they can kind of show up for, 10 different schools with one stop? Because I know that it's tough for coaches to get to, right? If everybody's playing on Friday in different parts of the country in the fall, they can't get to them all, but they kind of can if they show up tomorrow at Wake Forest.
The sidelines are always very busy. It's coaches, it's other people, it's a lot of people that have stake in college football. We get a lot of college football media there. I've had to add a lot of the guys to our guest list that they can get in tomorrow. So it's a lot of college attention on this, and the sidelines are always so full.
That's how you know it's a good event.
Yeah.
It is the High School OT Jamboree. One more time, tell everybody the schools that are participating and where and when and what they need to bring. Is there I don't know, any other details that people need to need?
Yeah, so tomorrow night, Wake Forest High School, we have 5 scrimmage games. The first one is Corinth Holders and Southern Durham. The second one is Terry Stanford and Harnett Central. The third one is that big top 10 matchup between Cardinal Gibbons and Rollsville. Then we have Wake Forest, the host school, playing Middle Creek. Then Southeast Raleigh and Millbrook are playing in that last game. The tickets are $10. They're good for all 5 games. You can buy them right now. Go to highschoolt.com. It's the first link there. You'll see it in that story. There's a link to buy the tickets. Go ahead and buy a ticket now because you'll want to have that ticket in hand when you go up to the gate. It's just easier that way than having to deal with it when you get there.
There you go. And if you missed any of those details, highschoolt.com. And while you're there, click around, right? To see all the content they're producing. If you are a fan or you have any interest in high school sports of all kind, not just football in the state of North Carolina, High School OT, best resource I've found for information and content about high school sports in North Carolina. Thanks, Joel.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
Once again, that's Joel Bryant, High School OT, not Joel O'Brien, although he is Irish. We'll get to the football at 4, more Panthers pregame for tonight's preseason game coming up.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Adventure awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. Our fellowship-trained orthopedists do it all. General, sports, pediatric, joint replacement, fractures, spine, prevention, advanced diagnostics, progressive treatments, minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, and more. Visit wakemed.org/wakeortho and get back your life.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole! That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Highs this afternoon will only reach the mid to upper 70s thanks to extra cloud cover and more chances for some brief showers. Into this weekend, some isolated showers and storms are possible. Otherwise, it'll be warmer with temperatures into the upper 80s by Sunday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 190 points to 44,159. Market update brought to you by Bolton Construction Services. Bolton is actively hiring experienced HVAC techs with a $2,500 sign-on bonus. As a family-owned leader in HVAC, Bolton puts people first. Don't miss out. Apply now at boltonservice.com.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for football at 4, and we have actual football to talk about. Kind of. Carolina Panthers, Cleveland Browns, preseason opener for both teams tonight. They did have a joint practice on Wednesday where they, in a more controlled environment, went up against each other in certain periods, and actually there's probably some more good on good there because the Browns will not be playing their starters in the actual preseason game tonight. So, if you wanted reps against their best, you got them on Wednesday, which I think coaches actually kind of like, but that gives you a different opportunity in the preseason tonight. What do you want to see, right? And not just from rookies, right? Obviously, a lot of this will come back down to Bryce Young. What do you want to see? Well, I can tell you this. After seeing Anthony Richardson last night, I want to see veterans making good decisions becomes the priority. If you watched the Colts game last night, Colts-Ravens, very early on, I'm going to do my best to break this down quickly. They had an empty protection, which means everybody was out into a route. They had 5 blockers, the offensive line, 2 guards, 2 tackles, and a center. There are certain things you need to know as a quarterback when there is a empty protection, such as which potential rusher is yours, okay? Based on where you set the mic, based on what protection you have, there's going to be, especially if there's 6 in a legitimate blitzing rushing stance or area of the field, one of them is going to be yours. Based on all the context clues that I could muster, Anthony Richardson should have known that the furthest to the right was his. The guy furthest to the right ran, blitzed, again, trying to keep this as kind of simple as possible, and he did not do anything about it. Got stuck in the chest with a face mask, which is, exactly what you're supposed to do in that situation. He ended up dislocating his pinky. There's all the still images zoomed in of, his 4 fingers pointing one way and then the pinky pointing another. That's unnecessarily opening yourself up to an injury in a preseason game. And I actually refrain a lot from doing what I just did because it's not like in my college career at the FCS level, I never made any mistakes in reads or protections or anything like I did. But occasionally you have to go like, no, actually, I'm pretty sure like 10 weeks into my freshman year, I wouldn't have been, like from that point forward, that particular mistake would have been one I was aware of. And it's not like they blitzed the house, right? Like you just kind of got to know. So I look at Bryce Young and say, we can figure out schematics. We can figure out, which players need to be put in different situations. We can figure it out. Who cares if we win this game or not? You can't open yourself up unnecessarily to injury. You can't prevent all injuries. Don't play scared. But if you have a empty protection, if your glance normally to see if you're hot in a certain situation is like a quick glance, give it a little extra beat. Make sure.
Yeah, I mean, number one priority's got to be stay healthy, and number two priority is don't get hurt.
And like there was just running back over the top was a super easy answer if in that particular situation. Just a little dump off, you probably pick up 8 yards. Secondarily, you're Anthony Richardson. Right? That's the exact opposite of me. What I mean by that is if you knew the guy was coming, you probably could have just shook him off and run. You probably could have bought time and still done whatever you wanted to do because you're an absolutely unreal athlete. So Bryce Young, beat him with your mind. Beat him with your brain. You're going to be out there against the Browns' backups, right? They're going to be overzealous, right? If there's a chance, for one of them to make a name for themselves with a sack, they're going to. So use their overeagerness against them, and then go from there. Right, then we can figure out, decision making as far as where to throw it and everything else. But the first thing you have to do is be a professional quarterback out there. Then the rest that I'm looking for is, as I said earlier, physically look better than last year. I think the last 2 years there were times where the Panthers couldn't win games because they just couldn't physically keep up with their opponent. They didn't have the horses, if you will. So I'd like to see them have the horses. I'd like to see them look physically superior to what they've looked like on the field the last 2 years. But really what I'm looking for is position battles. Really what I'm looking for is position battles. Because let's be real. Bryce Young can lay a stinker tonight. He's the starting quarterback week 1, right? Robert Hunt could miss a block. He's the starting guard, week 1. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So, who's starting at safety? Damani Richardson, Nick Scott, Lathan Ransom. Those are the 3 guys that I believe are in the running. There might be more. There might be other guys that we don't even know about. Now, how are they going to decide? Obviously, it will be an accumulation of everything they've done, contracts that they're paid, what they've done before in their career, what they've done up to this point in camp. But I'm telling you right now, if one of them makes a great play on the ball, either gets an interception or nearly gets an interception, I'm putting them at the head of the list. Because the number one thing that I think the defense for the Panthers needs to do better this year than last year, aside from darn near everything, the number one thing is get their hands on the ball. Because I still don't think they're going to be a good defense. I'm hoping they're not a bottom 10 defense in the league, but I still don't think they're going to be a good defense. And if you're not a good defense, you have to get turnovers when you can. It's a way that you can give up a whole bunch of yards and still give your offense a chance, is if you occasionally set them up in the red zone or you occasionally take points off the board with a turnover on your own end. So if you show me you're better than the other two at getting your hands on the ball, you go right to the head of the line as far as who I want to be the safety opposite of Trevon Merrick. Another position battle. This was picked as the most interesting position battle for the Panthers by ESPN. Center. Austin Corbett, Cade Mays, the veteran and the much more unproven younger guy. Now, offensive line's a little different, right? I do think the safeties, like if you make 2 or 3 plays, you move to the front of the line. Offensive line is the exact opposite, right? I don't think you can win the job with an awesome block. I don't think it's like, did you see that double team? We got up to the second level and took out the linebacker, and Chuba gained 4 extra yards because of it. Give me the job. Like, you want good plays, but I think it's more about, like, not losing it. Right? If there are 2 sacks and your name's called on both of them, they're probably not going to feel super comfortable having you out there week 1 protecting a very valuable asset in Bryce Young. And then I'm fascinated by who's going to be returning kicks for the Panthers. Right now, at the top of the unofficial depth chart is Raheem Blackshear. Raheem Blackshear, at best, 4th running back. There's a world where you can get a roster spot back if you can find somebody else, essentially, that you trust to be the kick returner or punt returner. Right now, it's Raheem Blackshear, and then backing him up as a punt returner is Hunter Renfrow, and Trevor Etienne is on the list as a kick returner, the 4th-round running back. And then I think 4th string at both is Jimmy Horn Jr. I want Jimmy Horn Jr. to get a couple chances in the preseason. Based on everything we're hearing for how he's performing as a wide receiver, his skill set is one that makes sense as a returner. Okay, speed, shiftiness, open field, run after the catch, precision, all those sorts of things. They play well for kick returners and punt returners. And if Jimmy Horn is on your roster, quote unquote, mostly as a returner, that makes your decision much easier on who to cut as a wide receiver. Right? Because if you only want to carry 6 wide receivers, you can go, well, we can carry 6 and then a kick returner. That's kind of like the 7, right? Because right now it seems like they have 7 guys they want to keep. It's Tetero McMillan, it's Thielen, it's Xavier Legette, it's Coker, it's Renfro, it's Jimmy Horn Jr., and David Moore. David Moore's probably the one on the chopping block. He might be out there rooting for Jimmy Horn Jr. to be a better kick returner than everybody as well. Right? It's like that roster spot's a kick returner roster spot, right? Not a wide receiver roster spot. Yeah, you could be on the wide receiver list, but like that's one of the options. And I referenced this earlier, but Jimmy Horn Jr.'s college teammate at Colorado, LeJontay Wester, I believe he made the team for the Ravens last night. Right? Preseason doesn't matter, except he returned a kick for 80-something yards and a touchdown, returned a punt, went 80-something yards and a touchdown. I believe he made the roster last night.
It doesn't matter until it does.
Exactly. That's the other thing. If he would have caught it, made one guy miss, gained 5 yards on a punt return and got tackled, wouldn't have cost him anything. Like, it would have just been like, all right, yeah, that's good. Plus, right? That's a positive return. But instead, he made the one more guy miss, saw a crease, took off, scored a touchdown. I mean, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't get the first run as a punt returner on one of the best teams in the NFL week 1. You can do that. You can go make your name in a preseason game. And then, by the way, it's incremental, right? You get one more opportunity. If he shows up next week in the preseason and drops 2 punts and they're both recovered by the other team, he can go right back. But he's made up ground in his pursuit. By the way, the Ravens special teams overall look pretty good, which probably means Colts special teams need to head back to the drawing board. Some guys may have lost a job on that kick return as well that were on the coverage team, so that also happens. But I'm excited for tonight for the Panthers. I don't care if they're playing the Browns' 3rd stringers. There's still a ton of information, or 2nd stringers. There's still a ton of information we can glean from how the players are used and what they do with those opportunities. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the ladder challenge coming up next. One-on-one, mano-y-mano, gambler for gambler, me versus Max. Next.
Get ready.
Concepcion touchdown, 13 yards. NC State leads North Carolina with 8:01 to play.
College football kicks off August 23rd.
Jones a first down and more. 10-5. They've tied the game. Bully ball by the Duke offense. Down the far sideline. Caught at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Carolina.
On 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Juice box. I'm a mom.
I'm good, seriously.
Let me check. Oh, hot sauce. Take it.
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins, a balloon. Wait one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 per month on Experience Beyond. Finance agreement $829.99 and qualifying ported. For well-qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right. Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Because you guys do everything for the exterior of your home, these things can add up. And there are a lot of people who think, I can't afford this. How can the Aluminum Company make it easier?
Yeah, well, Adam, we have plans that are 12 months, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months, which make it super affordable for people to do anything on their home, whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, gutters, any kind of exterior home improvement. The Aluminum Company has financing plans that can fit in your budget and make it easy.
So wait a second. I can get everything done, no interest, and no payments for 12 months?
Yeah, and you get a lifetime warranty once the project's done.
I get a lifetime warranty once the project is done?
Yes, sir.
What about my down payment?
No down payment, no
What?
deposit.
No down payment, no deposit.
No payment until the project's done.
No payment till the project's done.
Exactly.
Where do I sign up? Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before Max and I get to get out some of our competitive juices with the ladder challenge, many of you will have the opportunity, some of you, the elite of you, will get to get some of your competitive juices flowing at the Numbers Game Live, which is back. The second annual Numbers Game Live show, presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill, takes place Thursday, August 28th. It's getting closer by the day, where everybody that has scored a perfect score in the last year of the Numbers Game, which we play every day about 5:30 here on the show, up until this week, by the way. So if you got a perfect score this week, you're in for next year. But everybody over the last year that has a perfect score has been invited to come battle the clock, battle their competition, and battle it out to be the best Numbers Game champ at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills, a fabulous hotel for all your needs. If you are not involved, you didn't have a perfect score, you're practicing and you're gearing up for next year, you can watch. We'd encourage you to, as we crown our champion live on our YouTube live stream. So check out 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. You can be watching it right now, actually, for this show, waving at everyone out there in YouTube land. But subscribe, set up
subscribe.
Set up the alerts and everything so you know when it's happening. You know you won't miss it. It's all happening August 21st, and special thanks to On-Site AV, a full-service event production company for supplying the sights and sounds of Numbers Game Live, August 21st. Ferocious competition. Now, our own ferocious competition, the Ladder Challenge.
Oh, my God! And for the 20-foot ladder with a spear on Jeff Hardy! For the love of God, Jeff Hardy may be broken! Smack dab in half!
The way the Ladder Challenge works when Dennis is out, and he is, we have Max Gorman producing the show. 3 bets, $10 each. Max makes them, I make them. Whatever we want to bet on. Sports World, obviously. Whoever has the most money tomorrow wins. Max, as the guest, feel free to lead off.
And lead off I will. It's a little baseball pun because I'm going to go with a couple baseball picks today. I'm going to start out, it's a little bit of a theme on that as well. I'm going to start out with a little parlay action. We got a couple great pitchers on the mound. Chase Burns on the bump for the Reds against the Pirates. And Tariq Skubal on the mound for the Tigers. I'm not actually sure who they're playing, but I wrote down that I would like to take the Tigers. Reds and Tigers both to win. Parlay, that is plus 146. So $10 would return. You'd win $14.60, so it returns $24.60.
Tigers are playing the Angels.
There you go. That's probably why I took them. Tariq Skubal on the mound. I believe them by themselves were like minus 290 or something. So putting those two together is the only way to get the juice to potentially beat you here.
That may tip off one of my future picks that I knew that offhand. I'll start with I got a couple of preseason NFL picks for tonight. Give me Shedeur Sanders of the Browns to throw at least one touchdown pass, plus 105. Partially because despite the fact that the Browns have a million quarterbacks, they don't really have many. They signed Tyler Huntley earlier this week, and Shedeur Sanders and Huntley are going to play the entire game because the other three are dealing with either super old, don't need to prove anything during the preseason itis in Joe Flacco, or hamstring tightness for both Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett, which means Shedeur Sanders, I think, is going to play a lot. And he's not afraid to cut it loose. And I think the Panthers are going to have some growing pains in the secondary this year anyway. So, if they get down to the nitty-gritty of the end of their bench and Shedeur Sanders is still out there slinging it, I think he gets at least one. Might get a couple picks as well, but at least one touchdown, and it's plus money. Plus 105 for Shedeur to send at least one into the end zone. Turning my $10 into $20.50 is what I'm looking for. So there you go, Shedeur Sanders.
A little bit of juice there. I mean, I feel like he'll definitely get a good amount of action out there, but they don't want another quarterback injury either, though. So maybe they'll
throw it. They won't run it.
Yeah. Sticking with the Diamonds, I had Chase Burns as Reds in my last play, and then we're going to another Wake guy, Nick Kurtz. I'm going to go with him to hit a home run.
Mashing taters.
I don't know if he's been quite as hot the last week or so. He's definitely cooled off a little bit from his otherworldly pace he was on when he hit 4 home runs and 8 RBI in one game or whatever it was a couple weeks ago.
That is a tough pace to keep up.
Oh, definitely. And he was leading the American League in like every single batting stat over the last like month and a half. But I just got him to go yard tonight. That is plus 215, $10 would win $21.50. So winning bet would return $31.50.
It is insane that he hasn't even played half a season in the majors, and it's already all the way down to plus 215 that he hits a home run.
It's crazy.
That is unreal. Back to the NFL preseason, I have Drake Maye to throw a touchdown pass on his first drive versus Washington. This hit for me and Trey Lance during the Hall of Fame game. I'm going there with Drake Maye. I think the Patriots and Vrabel, their coach, they're kind of vibes guys. What I mean by that is they might be a little bit more aggressive with their play calling, maybe even a little less vanilla if they think it'll set the tone for the season. I think they want everybody to be really excited. So that first drive, I could see them kind of pushing it downfield. Maybe just to call my shot here, I don't need this to happen. All I need is Drake Maye to throw a touchdown pass on his first drive. Screen pass to Travion Henderson. Little second-year player to rookie running back. And then he does the rest for like a 12-yard touchdown or something like that. That would be a plus 460. So turning my 10 into $56 is what we're looking to do there. Just needs to happen on the first drive.
For an NFL starting QB to get a touchdown pass on the first drive, that feels like pretty good odds there.
And especially one that I think they are like trying to set up for a star turn, right? If it were Mahomes, I would almost assume that Mahomes is going to like get him down to the 1 and then hand it off. But for Maye, they're still trying to establish him. So I think, they could get in a really advantageous situation and still throw it.
Right. All right. So this last one, this is where I'm hoping to make the most. FedEx Cup playoffs going on right now. The St. Jude Championship down there in Memphis at, I believe it's TPC Southwind.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw the individual I will be wagering on hit his second shot into a par 5. I'm going with Justin Rose to win the FedEx St. Jude. It is plus 2,000. So he is currently 8 under. The leader, Tommy Fleetwood, is 13 under, has a 4-shot lead over the nearest competitor, Colin Morikawa. So right now, Rose 5 shots back. But as we know, Tommy Fleetwood not exactly ice in the veins when it comes to winning tournaments. He actually has never won one, and I don't think his first one will be coming in the playoffs. Give me Justin Rose, who made 10 birdies on Sunday at the Masters this year, a golfer I'm a massive fan of. And he's probably about to pick up another shot here. So that's plus 2,000. So 10 wins 200, returns $210.
He's got Scheffler one stroke behind.
See, for me, it was between him and Rose, but Rose.
I mean, one stroke behind Rose, by the way, not one stroke behind the leader.
Oh yeah, no. So 6 shots. It was a debate for me, for Scotty, who said 6 shots back, or Rose, who at the end of his round, I think will probably be 10 under, so it'll probably be like 3 shots back. And with how much I know he can go off in a single round, I just decided to go with Rosie there.
You're also disrespecting the local guy.
I love Akshay. He fired that 62 yesterday, but I've been burned in the past by him, so I had to pass on it this time around.
He's learned his lessons. I'm going back to the baseball diamond here. I have Skubal to throw 10 or more strikeouts versus the Angels. He's, for my money, the best pitcher in baseball. Plus 124 on 10 strikeouts. Seems like he's doing it pretty darn often. He's a monster. Turn my $10 into $22.40. That's what I'm looking to do. And then whoever has the most money, I guess on Monday, since it's a Friday, will be the winner between me and Max. Max, good luck.
Yeah, I think I'm in for Dennis on Monday as well, so we'll be able to track the results.
Yes, because Adam's out. So, correct. Be ready to talk some trash or accept some trash talk.
Or when we both go 0 for 3, we can just wipe the slate clean and do it again.
You're a golfer. It skins. Then the next one's worth 2. There's got to be a winner. We don't roll with ties. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the ladder challenge. Tune in Monday to see how it plays out. I have a question for everybody, because one of the topics that we've been battling over the last 6 months is all of the mystery, all of the unknown about UNC football. If we assume the biggest addition to the program this offseason was Bill Belichick, what's the second biggest addition? Is it one of the transferred defensive players like a Thaddeus Dixon? Is it one of the Gio Lopez, the quarterback? Is it who's the second biggest addition? Because I'll tell you who I think it is. Belichick. Steve Belichick. Aside from Bill Belichick, his son, one of his 2 sons on staff, Steve Belichick, might be the biggest acquisition of the offseason. And I don't think he'll ever get seen as that when you are around your dad as Bill Belichick, right? I think if he wanted to get the credit that he is due, staying in Washington probably would have been the move, which is where he was, University of Washington, not Commanders, UW. But there's also some cool parts, I'm sure, about, hanging out with family and being around your dad every day. So he jumps over, and he's now the defensive coordinator for UNC, which I think is kind of a big deal, because sans his dad, right? Bill Belichick, not a part of it. Last year, Steve Belichick turned around a Washington defense pretty good. And I have the stats here, and there's an entire article on this on WRALSportsFan.com. You can check it out. It's on Steve Belichick with quotes and things. I'm not going to read you the whole article, but I can give you this. Washington's, so I'm going to call them the Huskies, because I feel like calling them Washington, everybody thinks Commanders. The Huskies defense in 2023, the year before Steve Belichick showed up, was ranked 96th in total defense and 54th in scoring defense. He jumped that all the way up to 28th in total defense. They gave up almost 75, or actually a little over 75 yards less per game. Still gave up a decent amount of points, 53rd in scoring defense, but the yards going down so much pretty much tells you that just means the defense was put in worse situations, right? Other teams didn't have to go as far to score and things like that. So the defense got a lot better under Steve Belichick. That is important for a few reasons. One, That's taking over someone else's unit and making it better, which is what UNC is trying to do, and something that Bill Belichick hasn't done in decades, right? Bill Belichick, during his time with the Patriots, I mean, he hasn't been the new coach taking over someone else's roster in literal decades. And that's hard, right? Finding guys that you didn't handpick or getting rid of guys that you didn't handpick and bringing them in quickly and having 70 new faces and all of this, that's hard. Steve Belichick is the one that has more experience in it. The other part that's exciting about it is it was in college. He had to make a defense improve while they had to go take like geology class during the day, right? Bill Belichick has never had to worry about that. Bill Belichick has never had to worry about life in the dorms, right? Like Steve Belichick has, at least for a year, and he did it well. And then there's this third part, right? The more I read the article and the more I then did my own research into Steve Belichick, some of the best transfers in their recruiting class transferred from University of Washington. They followed Steve Belichick. Now, I'm all for, and I've been extremely complimentary of what I think Bill Belichick's name and aura and prestige will do for the recruiting at UNC. But I'm not going to attribute much of getting Thaddeus Dixon or the other four-star linebacker that jumped with him from Washington. I'm not going to attribute that to Bill Belichick as much as I am Steve Belichick, who as their defensive coordinator came to UNC, and then they followed. Then another one. I'm going to ask you a question. Bill Belichick, rightfully so, is at least, appears, right? Because so much of it is unknown with Bill because he doesn't let a lot of people into his inner circle. Rightfully so. He seems pretty confident in his evaluations and the way he does things, right? Bill Belichick doesn't have to look around and go, you guys think I'm doing this right. You guys think I'm doing this the right way, correct? Because he's got 8 Super Bowl trophies or Super Bowl rings saying, yeah, the way you do things produces results, right? So he doesn't have to look around and ask for advice very often. As a matter of fact, why would he? But if Bill Belichick is going to listen to anybody about how to work in college, if there's anybody that could say, like, actually, that works in the NFL, that ain't going to work here, his son would be a pretty good choice, right?
I felt like when the hiring, became like a real thing, when it went
Belichick
from
or Steve?
Bill. I mean, both
okay.
together. I mean, at the same time, because when it was kind of becoming real, a lot of the hypothesis from online conversation from some media was like, well, maybe he's just trying to secure the job as coach in waiting for his son, which would make sense as Steve has, again, had time coaching in the college ranks, whereas Bill really hasn't. And there was also a lot of conversation early on about whether or not he was leveraging it to maybe get an NFL job. And if that were the case, obviously that would help boost Steve's chances in potentially, securing a higher position within UNC's coaching staff. But, I mean, it would kind of make sense. Now,
for sure.
I think as time has gone on and the fact that he didn't leave for an NFL job on June 1st or July 1st, whenever the buyout had dropped down, like some people had mentioned on early in the process. It's interesting.
And when the buyout dropped down, I mean, I'm sure I read the same conspiracy theories you did, right? Like, oh, this lets him leave on the eve of the season, and then they're stuck, right? They can't go hire. There's no other, coaches out there looking for a job. They'll be forced to promote from within, and Steve Belichick will get the job. Then he has a year audition, right? Kind of to prove himself.
That's like chaotic evil. Leave on the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. Actually, I'm not taking this job, but you could promote my son.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
No, that'd be insane.
But I do think Steve Belichick ends up being pretty important in this thing for a lot of reasons. And not only that, we just had Joel Bryant. Joel Bryant, high school OT. Check out all the work they do covering high school sports in the state of North Carolina at highschoolot.com. They got the Jamboree coming up tomorrow in Wake Forest. Some of the best high school players in the state will be participating. And we talked about Amir Brown, a running back for Rollsville High School that is committed to UNC. He is a rising junior. So let's do some quick math here. Bill Belichick's age. He is 73, okay? Which means, boom, junior season for Amir Brown, Bill Belichick is 73. Senior season for Amir Brown, senior in high school, Bill Belichick is 74. Freshman year for Amir Brown at UNC, Bill Belichick will be 75, and that will be the last year that there's any guaranteed money on the contract that Bill Belichick signed. I would assume you're not committing to a coach that 76 when you're a sophomore. Even if you leave early for the NFL, your junior year, he's 77.
Almost old enough to be president.
I would assume that there's somebody else on staff that you feel like will be around. And I don't know if that's Steve, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Steve. Maybe it's Freddie Kitchens, maybe it's somebody. But I think in order for the program to have stability, you have to have somebody who's a bit younger in those meetings, in those recruiting efforts. And there is a different energy for Steve Belichick than Bill Belichick. One of my favorite conversations we had at ACC kickoff was a portion of our conversation with Will Hardy. Now, Will Hardy is a safety for UNC, position battle, trying to work his way into the starting lineup. He's from Georgia, played at a powerhouse down there. And in high school, comes from a family of football players. There's NFL All-Pros in his family tree. His brothers have played college football. His dad played college football. His grandpa played college football. So this is a dude that gets it, right? And we're talking with Will. And Will Hardy being a member of the secondary, I call him, he's a triple Belichick, right? So if you're in the secondary for UNC, your position coach, your secondaries coach, is Brian Belichick, one of Bill Belichick's sons. Your defensive coordinator, so the coordinator for your side of the ball, is Steve Belichick. And your head coach is Bill Belichick. That is a fascinating position to live in college. Fascinating. Especially because a lot of times, and I'm just, when you need to vent about your coordinator, you go to your position coach. When you need to vent about your head coach, you might go to your coordinator or your position coach. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, right? Like, why is coach always singling me out? Well, that's how dad is. It's just a funny beast. But one of the questions I asked Will Hardy was, all right, we're on this side of the room. Your position coach, your coordinator, and your head coach are on that side of the room. You want to talk to one of them. How do you get their attention? Right? Because you can't, you just yell Belichick and then hope they all come over and then say, not you, I wanted him? Like, how does it work? And this was the answer he gave me after thinking about it, right? First of all, he said, Coach Belichick is Bill. That, it was minus 1,000 odds that if you called one Coach Belichick, it was going to be Bill Belichick. Head coach, Coach Belichick. His position coach, Brian Belichick. Guess what they call him? Coach Brian or Brian? Real creative stuff there, right? Guess what name he gave for Steve? He said, I guess Coach Steve. Well, actually, Stevie B. He gave him Stevie B. Now, at the time, I just laughed, right? At the time, that's funny. All right, we got Coach Belichick, we got Coach Brian, we got Stevie B. That's it's a good punchline. And I don't know if he was being super duper true about it, but the fact that thought went into his mind shows Steve has a different relationship with those players.
Yeah, it's probably a little lighter.
It's a little lighter. It's quite frankly more college-y, if that makes any sense. There are certain coaches that are just built a little bit better for relating to that age while keeping it hierarchical. I don't know if that's a word. While keeping the authority, right? There were coaches in my playing career, played at the University of Delaware. It's not the ACC by any stretch, but, we were on scholarship too. There were coaches that were college hardos, if you will. They were college football hardos, right? Like everything is that if they told us to run, we'd run. But, I don't know if anybody was given extra for them. And then there were coaches that had nicknames that would joke with you. would walk up to a receiver and say, you're 2 ice cream sandwiches away from being a tight end. Like have those kind of jokes. And if they asked us to run, strain through the line, like finish it. Like it was, you just wanted to make that person like happy and proud and those sorts of things. And it was just a different type of leadership. And I think that in a lot of ways plays better in college. So if that is the different type of energy that Steve Belichick brings, I think that's going to be a requirement. I think that's going to be a necessity for UNC to play well. Because Bill Belichick will bring all the seriousness you need. Right? And at times this year, there's going to be a ton of pressure on that team. Can you imagine if they lose to TCU and it's not an aesthetically pleasing loss to start the season? The next 2 or 3 games, you're going to feel like you have the world on your shoulders because if you lose any of these, now all of a sudden the experiment is failing. Or how about this? What if you win the first 3? What if you win the first 4? Right? What if you're 5-1 or 7-1? What if all of a sudden things now there's a different type of pressure. Now you're upholding the legacy of Bill Belichick. You're going to need somebody that can cut that tension. I think whether you win or lose, it's always going to fall on the head coach's front door, right, or doorstep. It's always going to be them that has to answer for it. I think Steve Belichick might be the lesser talked about pivot point for how good the season is going to end up being for UNC. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Coming up next, we get a little real bold predictions. But first, Tim Donnelly for Maynard Service Company. Tim Donnelly talking about Maynard Service Company because I trust him. Right? You just heard me talk about the different relationships you have with coaches and players, and not all of them are the same, but they all kind of come down to trust. Do you think they actually have what's in your best interest at heart? Well, Maynard Service Company, I trust them to have my best interest at heart. There's always a bit of cynicism, and I think this might just be me, or actually, there's probably a lot of you that think like this. If something is being fixed of yours that you don't understand, right? Like if you're not a car guy or a car lady and you're getting your car fixed and they say you need a new part, there's part of me that's like, you're just trying to get extra money out of me, aren't you? Right? Which is why you like to have relationships with them, right? You like to have a car person, somebody at a mechanic shop, auto body shop, whatever it is, that you know by name and you trust and you have a long-term relationship with. And you know if they come out and say, you need this new piece, you're like, all right, darn, I actually need it. Because in the past, you've gone in there and they've said, no, actually, I'm going to do this without the new part. It's still good. It just needs a little tune-up. Maynard Service Company is that kind of company. Bring them into your community. Let them be a part of your planning. Let them come in and do maintenance on your cooling system. Maintenance. That means they want to come in, clean it up, make sure it's running well, so they don't get the call for the big money replacements and fixes when things break. They want to come out and say, hey, all right, did a little bit. You should be good for the next X amount of time. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. It is those types of things, which if you're more handy than if you're great with plumbing and electrical, then yeah, you're probably safer calling anybody up and you already know what's wrong and know what they need to do and know how much it should cost. I don't. Maynard Service Company does, and I trust them, and you should too. I'll co-sign for them, right? I'll throw my vouch out there for them. Maynard Service Company and their owner, Brett, I vouch for them. Give them a call. If you need any help, heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and if you think you never will, keep this number in your phone anyway just in case. 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. 93, or visit them online at MaynorServices.com, MAYNOR services.com. Real, bold predictions. Next.
The Adam Gold Show.
So I hear Bill Belichick's non-committal about a starting quarterback for the TCU game. First, that's on brand for Bill. He's not going to give you what you want to hear. He's going to play everything close to the vest. But let's be honest here. They brought Gio Lopez here for a reason. If he's not the quarterback on Labor Day, I think that's a problem. Max Johnson's nice, but he's not it. It's got to be Lopez.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Guys, Marcy Bailey here from Bailey's Fine Jewelry with some diamond advice. Buying an engagement ring doesn't have to be so complicated. We've been doing this since 1948, and we know what women want, a combination of size and quality. And a little hint here, size wins big. We guarantee you can be in and out in under an hour, and she'll love the ring or your money back. It's that easy. Come see why we're voted the best place to buy a diamond. And remember, every woman wants a Bailey box.
For nearly 140 years, the Salvation Army of Wake County has been serving our community, providing shelter, clothing, food, and emergency disaster services to those in need. Now the Army needs our help. With an increase in demand for services, they need help restocking their food pantry. Items needed include canned goods, pasta, and rice. Your generosity can make a big difference for a struggling family. Help the Army, help others. Donations can be dropped off at the Salvation Army Center of Hope at 1863 Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. You could be watching the live stream right now, in which case, I'm going to give you, this is a little embarrassing, but it is a maybe an added reason to check out the YouTube live stream when you're hanging out. Occasionally, coming out of break, there's rejoin music. If you're listening to the radio, you know that, right? You just heard a song coming out of break. Online on our YouTube live stream, we're not allowed to play the music. Okay, so you get the entire experience, right? You get the talk, you get the quotes, you get the audio from sports newsmakers, you get Max and I's back and forth, you get it all, except you don't get the copyrighted music coming out of break, which means occasionally you get like 30 seconds of me maybe dancing or singing coming out of break because I'm in the mood and it's a good song.
There was a really good clip. It was when the Hurricanes signed Nikolai Ehlers.
With Dennis.
Dennis.
Yeah.
Dennis, he insisted that I play some pump up the jams or something like that. And then you can just see him fist pumping there at the desk, but there's no music, so he's just, come on, pump it up.
There you go.
You got to pump it up.
So it is, if you just want a good laugh at our expense, you see us acting ridiculous, and without the music, it's much more ridiculous. A couple days ago, my mom was watching the show on YouTube, and she said that she thought her feed had gone out because there was just silence, and then she went to go look at it, and she was in the other room or whatever, and there I was with no music playing, having the good old time. YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. If you want to see it, you got to go check it out. Now, let's get to one of my favorite segments of the week. It's called Real Bold Predictions. Real Bold Predictions is simple. Most places in sports media, they do bold predictions, but they have no checks and balances. There's no judge, no jury. All there is, all right, we're going to do bold predictions. And then they say something ridiculous like, I think Bryce Young is going to throw for at least 5 touchdowns this year. And then everybody goes, whoa, bold. It's not bold.
Bold prediction, the Chiefs will win the AFC West.
It's only been, 8 straight years or something like that? So what we have installed is the bold enough bell or the not bold enough buzzer. I'm going to make a prediction I think is bold, and if it is, you'll hear the bell. If it's not, you'll hear the buzzer. And if I get a buzzer, I have to make it bolder on the spot until I hear the bell. If you're new here, you will catch on. It's simple. First bold prediction. Tetairoa McMillan catches a touchdown tonight. Not bold enough. I would guess you get pretty good odds on that. He's only going to play 8 to 12 plays, maybe a drive or two, but yeah, apparently he's not bold. He catches a touchdown from the 10 or further. All right, so it was close.
Sure. I mean, I didn't want to give you just the first one.
Well, so I got to start with something. Okay, now I know your game. Now I got the scouting
I thought
report.
It was real bold predictions.
I think that was real bold. That's it was certified, authenticated. Picking one touchdown scorer, a rookie in his first preseason game when he might play like 9 plays.
Top 10 pick, though.
Top 10 pick, correct. So was Ashton Genty at 3 carries for -1 yard.
That is true.
So was Tyler Warren. I don't think he caught a touchdown.
That would have been a really good bold prediction yesterday. Ashton Genty will have -1 yards tonight.
There's going to be, if you look at the stats for the Raiders, there's going to be like 9 guys with a carry, at least one. And Ashton Genty's going to have the fewest yards of all of them in the negatives. No, Tedero McMillan scores a touchdown tonight. I think he is, and this is where, maybe I'm overthinking. I think he's going to be so good in the red zone. When the windows get smaller, he's such a good contested catch guy. You get down to like the 15 or in. I think it's going to be super tempting to just go, where's T-Mac? I'm throwing it to him.
Yeah. You would love if he's someone who can like make the goal line fade of a viable play call, because a lot of at least in my opinion, that's not a play you should ever really run. But if you have like a big guy at wide receiver who can pull that off, it can be pretty lethal.
All right, I don't know how many real bold predictions we're going to get into because now you've stumbled into one of my pet peeve arguments. Goal line fade is not like, people like to look at goal line fades and say, it only is a touchdown X percentage of the time. It's really one of the worst goal line plays you can run. You don't run a goal line. This is going to sound stupid. You don't run a goal line fade to score a touchdown. You run a goal line fade to take interceptions completely off the board. It is one step and throw. The only thing you tell your quarterback is over the top and where only your guy can get it. It's to mitigate the potential disaster. When you're throwing the goal line fade, you're saying we're either going to get kind of lucky and our receiver's going to make a great play and we're going to get a touchdown, or we're going to kick a field goal and we're fine with it. It's a different beast. But here's where I think, or back shoulder. If you're throwing back shoulder, you're going for the touchdown. That just means your receiver and your quarterback have great chemistry. Here's where I think Tedero McMillan becomes a red zone beast. And this might even be a little bit further in than the 15, maybe starting at like the 10. I want him running crossing routes along the end line. Get 9 yards deep into the end zone and run horizontally along the out of bounds line, along the sideline or the end line. And then I can tell Bryce Young, throw it 11 feet in the air, right? Throw it up at the field goal post, where either your darn near 6'5" volleyball player receiver will sky and make the catch, or it'll go 2 rows into the stands. No harm, no foul. Very similar. There's only 2 outcomes there. Touchdown or incomplete, which are fantastic outcomes down there in the red zone. Protect the ball. I think he's going to be really good because of his wingspan, contested catchability, and things like that. He can get up. All right, where are we at? Next real bold prediction. We'll move on from the Panthers. Akshay Bhatia wins the St. Jude Invitational. Championship, not Invitational, whatever you want to call it. Where's he at right now? Where's he at?
Actually, I had it on in here. It just went to commercial because they're actually getting some rain right now.
He's tied for second. He's 1 under. He's done for the round, obviously. 9 under par. Went bananas yesterday. He only has to go bananas either Saturday or Sunday, and he's right back in it. I think he's there. Give it to Akshay. He's tied with Colin Morikawa and Justin Rose in second. Fleetwood leading by 4 strokes. Rose still on the course. There you go. Next up. Omari and Hampton. This was one of my predictions last week, but stuff has changed, and I think it's gotten bolder. Omari and Hampton still leads rookies in rushing yards. Rashawn Slater That's a brutal injury for the Chargers.
Yeah, it's right after they make him the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history to this point, too.
That is
tough.
They had Rashawn Slater as the left tackle and Joe Alt as the right tackle. Two of the best at their position in the sport. You had these bookends that were just glorious. Rashawn Slater gets hurt. You're probably going to have to move Joe Alt to left tackle. So you get worse at left tackle, and whoever you're replacing Joe Alt with, you get worse at right tackle. If you're Omarion Hampton, you're going like, oh, man, it was going to be so fun running behind those guys.
I don't know if this is a bad omen for Omarion Hampton, but there's these flowers in here in the production studio.
Okay.
And, like, basically right as you made that prediction, one of the petals of the flowers, like, died and fell off onto the counter. So...
hopefully that's an omen, a late omen for Slater.
Yeah,
rather
I might
than
need to put some
new,
water in
new
this,
omen
in this
for
cup because this flower's dying, or maybe it's just not bullish on Omarion Hampton, the Chargers this year. But that timing was a little bit kind of gave me a chill down my spine.
Victoria Vodenecker, who produces the Adam Gold Show, she has quite the green thumb. Her cubicle has just a billion plants, and they stay alive. So,
but she may need to put some water in here because I actually see two dead flower petals sitting on the desk over here.
Maybe it's just out of season. I don't know how flowers work. I'm bad at keeping them alive. Next real bold prediction. This has been going on. This is gonna be every week until I have to pull the plug or until it's right. 3 ACC football teams will make the college football playoff. 3. There it is. I have set 3 as my realistic hope. Obviously, 4 is where you can start demanding things. That's when you start throwing your weight around like you're the Big Ten or the SEC. 3 is like we're doing good. Your opinion still matters. You're healthy. 2 is, you can't only have 2 most years. You can have it every once in a while, or else people are going to start looking down on you. 1, you might as well be the Sun Belt. So 3 is where I'm hoping they can go.
It's bold because, like, I just don't know who that third team
According
could be.
to
Obviously,
preseason rankings, it'd be SMU.
Okay, because in theory, like, Clemson, best chance, Miami, second best chance, and then in the third, like, I just don't know if anyone can step up to that level. Can we win enough games to get in?
I think there's a tier of 6. Clemson is actually, there's a tier of 1. I think Clemson is above. Then there's a tier of 5 where it's Miami, it's SMU, Louisville, Duke, State, and that's it right there, right? I think that's what we got going on there. Some people would put Florida State in there. I need to see them do something before I put
There's
them
so
in.
much unknown about them.
There's unknown. And same is true with like UNC. If UNC comes out looks great for the first month, I have no problem tearing them up, not tearing them up. And same is true with FSU. But for right now, if you're getting 3 of those 6 that I mentioned, ACC's in a healthy spot. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is real, authentic, certified, bold predictions. We'll get to real, authentic, certified, starting 5 coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Chiefs would be going for their 4th Super Bowl in a row. And I'm just wondering if at some point that takes a toll on them. If at some point we see the carriage turn into a pumpkin. Not in a they're going to be bad and miss the playoffs type way,
right.
But just it's not the Arrowhead Invitational. It's not Patrick Mahomes wakes up and he's in the AFC Championship game and they automatically go to the Super Bowl.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time.
No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles bird dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles chicken supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing Mountain Dew. Yes, give me my good friends. Give me that dew.
Grab some ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Get ready for UB40 with special guest The Fix live at Cocoa Booth Amphitheater on August 24th. Tickets at etix.com.
Stitches, itches, aches, and pains. Strep and sinus, minor sprains. Pink eye, earaches, fever, flu. Virtual visits, physicals too. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at richielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Maye. Nice to see the sunshine this afternoon. Small chance for an early evening shower, then partly to mostly cloudy overnight, 67 the low. Morning clouds, some afternoon sunshine. It's milder, 84 the high.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money at the closing bell. Dow Jones up 206 points to 44,175.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We had preseason games last night. 3 of them. 3 of them things. NFL preseason games. And that is where we're going to start the starting 5, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I feel great about playing football right now.
Now, take it with a grain of salt, right? There's preseason. They're called preseason for a reason. But I'd be pretty happy if you're an ECU football fan. Saw Keaton Mitchell, one of your running backs from a few years ago, ended up leaving early, undrafted, gets picked up by the Ravens, and pretty much immediately is like, hey, guess what? Huge value as an undrafted free agent for you right here. Because, the Ravens are a roster that wasn't complete enough already. They needed more diamonds in the rough joining their team. His explosiveness is there. His yards per carry is there. Then he gets hurt. And it's a knee, and it's a running back, and you get bummed out, and you know it's going to be a while. And his kind of return was yesterday for the Ravens in preseason. And my guess is they went in with something, John Harbaugh went into the game with some kind of, hey, let's see what he gets out there. Let's see what he looks like. Let's hope that he's, got his explosiveness back, and let's just see, right? It's not the end of the world if he's a little rusty. And then he went out there and looked great, ran for a touchdown, good on special teams, good on the hard yards, and it's like, never mind. I think we're good. Really impressive. Derrick Henry was interviewed during the game, and they asked him about Keaton Mitchell being the star of the game thus far, and he went, shoot, he's been the star at camp. It's pretty high praise coming from the guy at the top of the depth chart at your position. And if I'm the Ravens, and I'm not, but if I was, I love Derrick Henry. I would be interested in limiting his carries as much as I can, particularly like the first half of the season. So then down the stretch and in the postseason, he can be extra fresh. And if that means getting the ball to Keaton Mitchell a few times, that's win-win, right? That's keeping your big dog fresh and giving your young pup the opportunity to pop a couple long runs. Keaton Mitchell was one of the stars of the first night of real preseason action. Talked about this earlier. Anthony Richardson, he's giving Daniel Jones opportunities. I'll put it that way. Daniel Jones, former Duke quarterback, former Giants quarterback. Where was he last year? The Vikings. He's been all over the place. He's now in a quarterback competition with Anthony Richardson, who was drafted a few picks after the Bryce Young, CJ Stroud duo. Here's the thing. Anthony Richardson is a physical monster. Tall, fast, strong, laser rocket arm. Daniel Jones is people used all the cliches, right? He's sneaky fast. He's a deceptively good athlete. He's not Anthony Richardson. But if Anthony Richardson can't recognize a basic pressure, if he can't get you in the right protections, if he can't protect himself, he's going to give the job to Daniel Jones. Now, I didn't tell the story here. So Anthony Richardson missed a fairly easy – easy is the wrong word. But he missed a pressure that he should have noticed. He should have protected himself, should have gotten the ball out of his hand, and he didn't. And because of that, he took a pretty brutal shot, like just a blindside. And he dislocated his pinky. Now, the good news is they've done the scans, they've done the x-rays. It doesn't appear as if there's any fractures or anything, so you pop it back in, you wait a day or two, and you should be good to go. I have one experience with a dislocated finger as a quarterback. I was a freshman or sophomore in high school. Threw a pass, came down on a helmet, so my throwing hand after the ball released on the follow-through hit a defensive lineman in the helmet. And I looked down, and one of my fingers was doing the right turn, about that the first knuckle out of your hand, just a right turn. And I looked down, I went, whoa, got a little queasy, right? I'm not good at that sort of thing. Jogged off to the sideline, and I don't even know if this is old school. Like, I'm not that old, but this feels like 1940s or 1960s stuff. Went to the head coach, one of my favorite coaches I've ever had. He looked at it. He went, yep, all right, here we go. On 3. I was like, we're doing this right here? He was just kind of like, yeah, like, trainer's not going to do anything different than I'm going to do. I was like, all right. He goes, on 3. 1. Did it right on 2. Didn't let me get to 3. Didn't let me tense up. I looked down. It was pointing in the right direction. He went, shake your hand. I shook it. He said, did that hurt a whole bunch? I said, no. He goes, all right, here's the play. When I tell you we didn't even get a delay a game when I dislocated my finger, I think Anthony Richardson will be all right, is what I'm getting at. And they were smart, by the way, to take him out. And, the way I did it, probably not the right way to do it. But it's the way I would have wanted to do it at that time. He'll be all right, but that's an indicator, right? If you're not getting that protection correct, there will be more confusing pressures and blitzes you see. What are the chances you get those right? Right? If you're missing stuff like that, it's only a matter of time before it's Daniel Jones's job by default, because you've gotten yourself carried out with an injury that can't be fixed with a clever timing and a one hard yank.
It's so funny they're on the same team, because I don't remember who had originally said it, but I love the phrase that Anthony Richardson is the Daniel Jones of Cam Newton's.
I get it. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I get it.
It does, kind of.
No, no, I'm saying it's right there. Like size, speed, unbelievability, but also on an 80-yard touchdown run, he's going to trip over his own feet. A little bit there. As far as other local guys, Devin Leary played some college football at NC State. He struggled in his opportunities with the Ravens. Obviously didn't finish at NC State, finished at Kentucky. But got a lot of run. Didn't make much out of it. Because of that, Tez Walker, UNC wide receiver, didn't get a chance to make many plays. 2 targets, no catches. Bengals, Their starters look great. Couldn't have higher vibes from Burrow and Chase and that crew. Jordan Moore out of Duke, 2 catches for 2 yards, 3 targets. So involved once like the second and third unit got out there, but not a lot happening there. And then there was at least one pass batted down by Aeneas Peoples, who played some at Duke before transferring to Virginia Tech. There were some tackles made by Kamen Rucker. There was some plays made. I wouldn't say many highlights by the local guys. That was, what number was that? That was number 5. We got to get rolling. Let's jump to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
The FedEx Cup playoffs are going on. The top 70 in the FedEx Cup points. We're talking about the PGA season-long competition. They are playing the second round today at TPC Southwind in Memphis, FedEx St. Jude Championship.
Well, they're not playing right now. They've been called off the course because
I assume lightning?
No, it is heavy rain. And maybe delay, maybe went underway like 15, 20 minutes ago, and it looks like the place is completely underwater, so they're getting hit hard. So probably unlikely to pick up again today.
This is, if you're unfamiliar with golf, it is one of the more fun events to follow because essentially the entire tournament is acting as one big, like, Thursday, Friday, where you're trying to make the cut. The top 70 golfers on the season FedEx Cup points make this event. Then the top 50 make kind of the second round or make the cut for the next event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Then the top 30 make the Tour Championship at the end. And you can play your way up and down, right? So as far as local guys go, Akshay Bhatia, Akshay Bhatia is tied for second. He lives in Wake Forest, so you might see him around at the grocery store. Cameron Young, who just got his first career win last week in Greensboro. He played at Wake Forest. He's tied for 17th, so he's making moves. He's also making a run at Ryder Cup, maybe an outside run, but if he plays really well this tournament and the next 2, maybe. Ben Griffin, a UNC golfer who won earlier, had an unbelievable run earlier this season. He's also tied for 17th. They're 4 under par. The leader's at 13 under. And then Ryan Gerard, another winner in an alternate event for a former UNC golfer earlier this season. He's tied for 39th. When it comes to, as I said, working their way into the next round, they are all safe at the moment. Ben Griffin is 6th in FedEx Cup points. Told you, he went on an unreal run earlier this season. Bhatia 16th, Cameron Young 18th, and Gerard 33rd. So they are all in the mix for next week. Gerard would obviously have to pick it up to make it to the Tour Championship.
Wins are worth so many points if you have one. And then if you win one of the playoff events, you immediately go up to like top 3 pretty much.
And also the payouts for these 3 events.
Insane. And then if you win the whole thing,
big money.
If you win the Tour Championship, then it's like $25 million.
Big money.
Get your kids into golf.
Yeah, but just know it ain't just, couple of buckets at the range every couple days. These guys are grinding. But it does make it really fun. It makes the stakes in these events a lot higher. For example, right now Jordan Spieth is 1 spot in making it for next week. Normally, do we like get really excited about Jordan Spieth being tied for 39th at 1 under par? No. But when if he plays well this week, he plays next week, and the money and the prestige and everything that comes with it, it makes it more exciting. So there's a lot to track on this weekend. That's number 4. Let's hit number 3. The high school OT Jamboree tomorrow. Wake Forest, meaning at Wake Forest, Wake Forest High. It is a really cool event. Jamborees, to me, growing up, were always like volleyball, right? Because you could play volleyball like kind of shortened matches and get 10 teams in a gym and do it all day Saturday. Having a Jamboree for football is pretty cool, and I was curious as to how they were going to pull it off. High school OT, by the way, they are our colleagues here at Capital Broadcasting throwing the event. They have scrimmages between some of the best schools best high school football teams in the area. An hour apiece, 48 minutes. It is 24-minute first half, 24-minute second half, 5-minute halftime, running clock. But it is real football for the teams, right? You get the refs, the stadium, the fans, all of it. So it's kind of like a preseason game for a high school team, which I think is awesome, right? You want – football is just so different because you can't play 3 games a week. You can't play even 2 games a week, right? You can only get so many in on the schedule. Meanwhile, basketball, football, or basketball, baseball, volleyball, whatever those, you can play 1 billion. So if you start slow over the first 3 games because you need to, get your game together, all right, you got another 20 or 30 to figure it out. Football, you don't have that. So getting a preseason game is awesome. They play at 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. If you're interested in going, by the way, I forget all the names. You can go check it out on highschoolot.com for more info, WRALSportsfan.com as well. But there's quite a few big-time recruits. Guys going to Stanford, guys going Rollsville High School has 3 just by themselves committed to UNC. There's an NC State running back that'll be participating, and there's more even than that. There's a Wake Forest commit quarterback that'll be playing with Cardinal Gibbons. So there's a whole host of them, and you usually don't get to see that many in one spot, right? High school football, you pick one spot, you go there on Friday, you watch the game. You can see 5 games if you sit there for 5 hours. It's like it's like red zone of high school football, but only like the really good ones. And it's tomorrow, again in Wake Forest. Buy tickets. Go ahead and buy tickets. You can go to highschoolot.com so you have it kind of in your possession and you're set when you show up. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the 2 of us.
3rd down and 3 from the 36. Daniels, he throws it to the right. Clay catches made at the 30-yard line. The run to the left side, and it's Terry McLaurin taking it the distance. Touchdown, Commanders, 36 yards.
All right, I'm going to call an audible here. Check. Easy. This was supposed to be the section where we talk just generic NFL news, holdouts, injuries from around, but we've kind of referenced them throughout the show. And quite frankly, there's a lot of places you can find NFL news. There's only one place where you'll get a reaction to the quote of the year, potentially, from Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Now, to be clear, I was unfamiliar with the Sports Gossip Show, which is a podcast, prior to this morning. But it is a sports podcast that has been signed by The Athletic, right? So that gives it a bit of, The Athletic, owned by the New York Times, gives it a little bit of journalistic background. The 2 hosts of the Sports Gossip Show are named Charlotte and Madeline. I listened to their latest podcast earlier today. They, to be quite frank, have been, and I'm not saying this negatively towards them, although they would probably take it as an insult, kind of weird with how they've been covering Jordan Hudson, the girlfriend of Bill Belichick. Here's the thing. Here's how I look at the Jordan Hudson-Bill Belichick situation. I participated in, and many of you did as well, like the one-off jokes when you first learned about it, right? Like the ha, funny little joke, move on. Harmless, I believe. Then you started getting into like more personal jabs and people were taking it more seriously and getting kind of weird about it. And then you just kind of, at least for me, you stop with the jokes and you treat it more like a news story. If there's facts to report, you report the facts. If there's not, you move on. If it relates to football, right, when the Freedom of Information Act requests provided information that Jordan Hudson was involved in some of the football discussions and marketing and things with UNC, we talked about that. The Sports Gossip Show did not stop there. They drove to Maine for the Miss Maine pageant to cover it as Jordan Hudson finished as the second runner-up. They did full episodes breaking down the Miss Maine pageant. They did full episodes talking about, like, they went all in. And apparently it caught the attention of Jordan Hudson. Because at one point, Jordan Hudson called Charlotte, one of the hosts of the Sports Gossip Show. And Charlotte did as most people do. Hello? Who is this? Yes, this is Charlotte. Who am I talking to? And Jordan Hudson, according to Charlotte of the Sports Gossip Show, said, it's Jordan Hudson, the president of your universe. Which, I'll give Jordan Hudson credit. If it was meant as a zing, like y'all have traveled to Maine to cover me and done full episodes on me and my relationship, that's a good zing. If it's meant as like I am the president of your universe, like a more boastful thing, it's a wild take. And we don't know the intonation because Jordan Hudson never agreed to be interviewed by the Sports Gossip Show, although they did spend hours on the phone together. Multiple different times, according to the host of the Sports Gossip Show. They FaceTimed for an hour and a half, talked on the phone for 37 minutes, talked on the phone at least a few other times. Like they were communicating a bunch, but it was never a recorded interview. So we don't have the audio. All we know is she's being attributed with, it's Jordan Hudson, the president of your universe. There's also quotes such as, after talking to Charlotte for a while, Jordan Hudson was asking a bunch of questions about their podcast. Why did you say this? Why did you say that about the Miss Maine pageant? Do you think this? Do you think that? And at one point, Charlotte went, you know what? There's two hosts on this show. It's me and Madeline. You're asking some questions about what Madeline said. I don't feel comfortable speaking for her. Why don't we put this conversation on ice? And I'll call you back. I'll text you in a group chat with her so we can set something up when all three of us can talk. Jordan Hudson was cool with that, but she did say this. Madeline is going to flip when you tell her I called. That's wild. By the way, I think it's true. After hearing these two people, listening to the podcast, I think they probably would have flipped when one told the other that she called, but it's still weird to say. Right? Like, right now, if, I don't know, like Billy Joel called Max, he would probably flip. It would be weird if Billy Joel told someone else, if I called Max, he'd flip. Like, it's I don't know, it's strange. And it's very one-sided, and I want to be clear on that. Like, we're not getting Jordan Hudson's side of this. So maybe the Sports Gossip Show was equally as embarrassing in their interactions.
Again, we're not getting her side yet. The phone lines are open.
Jordan Hudson, if you want to call, 919-860-5326. Or reach out to social media. We'll give you the bat line. We can pre-record. Right? We can do this whenever you need to do it. But, I mean, they went on to say she ended up screaming and crying at them about their coverage of the Miss Maine pageant. I don't know what to make of any of this. I don't know what to make of any of this. But if you're talking to reporters, just know it's not going to stay secret. Like you're talking to podcasters that are literally the host of the Sports Gossip Show. I would imagine you'd be buttoned up, right?
And we know she didn't lead with "this is off the record." She led with "this is the president of your universe."
It's Jordan Hudson, the president of your universe. I also don't think that they would go off the record with her, because if you make your living talking about issues like this, going off the record and then continuing to talk about it, it becomes very difficult. If you know things that you can't reference, but you're talking about it all the time, it becomes very tough. I do that sometimes, very rarely in my career, but sometimes I'll go like, oh, no. Like, I don't want to know what you're talking about unless I can talk about it on the air, because it becomes really difficult for me to, I got to talk for 3 hours. If there's certain areas of my brain I can't go to, I get lost in there. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1. Panthers play football tonight. Panthers, Browns, preseason. What are you looking for? 1, I want to see Tetairoa McMillan, and I don't know if it'll be able to happen because it's very short sample size. We're expecting the starters for the Panthers to play 8 to 12 plays, 1 or 2 series. Could be a little bit more, I'd assume, if if they have a series that's at the 25-yard line and they get to 12 plays. I'm guessing they're not taking those guys off the field. But not that many plays is what I'm saying. Probably 20 or less, for sure. This preseason, though, which includes tonight, I want Tetairoa McMillan to at least be given the opportunity to earn maybe like risky throws. Like if I want to give him a few chances to prove that he's going to go make contested catches in games. I want him to be the safety blanket for Bryce Young. I want him to be the option that Bryce Young goes to when he needs a completion. I want him to be the North Star for the offense. You draft somebody 8th overall, that's what you want him to be. And the only way that happens is over time, right? The only way that happens is over time, right? On a first down, you accidentally make a bad throw and he catches it. Well, now you know. On a third down, if I need a catch, I can go to you, and even if it's a little off target, you're still having the ability to get a completion out of it. First quarter, throw a 50-50 ball, you make the catch. Well, now I know. Fourth quarter, I can go back to you, right? Preseason, you make a tough catch. Well, now I know. Week 1, I can come back to you to make a tough catch. It's never going to be 100%, but it is funny, right? Because I'm a fantasy football nerd, so I study all these weird advanced analytics. It is funny how at the end of the year, quite often the best contested catch guys have the most contested catch opportunities. It's because quarterbacks are like, oh, you catch a good percentage of them, I'm going to keep giving you that chance. So I want T-Mac to get the chance to earn those reps, right? Try it now where the stakes are low. And then if he doesn't make them, you adjust, right? If he doesn't make the contested catches, all right, maybe we got to get him some screens or something to get rolling. Elsewhere, I want Bryce Young to run the operation. I talked about this, and I don't know if this is one of those things that's easy to say when you're not in the position, but I would consider it at least. I would bring it up to my other coaches and see if they're going to tell me I'm a complete idiot. And then I'll go, all right, fine. No, bad idea. I get it. I would entertain at some point this preseason kind of booby-trapping Bryce Young in the offense. And I don't mean calling bad plays. I mean intentionally getting a play into him on the headset late. I mean substituting late intentionally to see how, like, I forget exactly what happened. But I remember my dad saying this. When I was learning to drive, right? I'm talking about old school, 15 years old, learner's permit, out with dad. I was in some kind of a neighborhood. I think a ball bounced in front of me or something, but a kid came running in, and I was driving, new driver, right? Kid not looking, flies, and I slammed on the brakes, like locked up, screech, all that. I don't know, maybe driving 25 or 30 miles an hour. Seems more dramatic in my memory than it probably was in real life. And I just remember my dad looking at me saying, you all right? I was like, yeah. He goes, all right, first panic situation. That's actually pretty important, right? You need to have some panic situations so you know how to react in panic situations. I want to make sure there's nothing that can rattle Bryce Young once the metaphorical bullets are live in the regular season. So I would almost send 10 guys into the huddle. Make him go, oh, we're missing hey, we need a tight end. Do you use the timeout? Do you not? Do you have to use the timeout, right? Can you get everybody up there on the line? Is it okay to take the delay game penalty on this one because, it doesn't change very much what you're trying to do? I want to put him in uncomfortable situations. That's what I'm getting at. And I'll even second it with another anecdotal little story here. Listening to a podcast with Howie Roseman today, the GM of the Eagles, who obviously is on top of the world right now. They're the defending Super Bowl champs. And he was asked about how he evaluates or what he's looking for in players. He said, I want to find people that deal with adversity well, which is eerily similar to what Dave Canales said he looks for in players before the draft. All right, I want to know a situation where you were down, you had something to overcome, and you did, and how did you do it? Because if you find someone that can overcome adversity, you can find someone you can build around. I would try to make some adversity for the offense. Not the kind that's like, I'm calling a bad play so they fail. I'm calling some like, let me panic them a little bit, see if they can keep their head about them. Maybe that's a preseason deal there. And again, I might say that to my assistant coaches and have both coordinators come meet me after the meeting and go, "You're an idiot. We're not going to do that." And I'll go, "Deal, fair. All right, cool." Right? And that's why I hired you guys. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the numbers game coming up, and that means we need 2 contestants. The number to call in, 919-860-5326 if you want to play the numbers game. The prize for today, Jason Aldine tickets. Pair of tickets to see Jason Aldine at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on August 21st. If you want to play the numbers game, if you want to win the tickets, first thing you got to do is call in. Right now, lines are open. 919-860-5326 for the numbers game. Next.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Law Tigers. Something you have to make sure you do as a motorcycle rider, make yourself visible as possible. One of the best ways you can do that, always ride with your headlights on. And even in the daytime, turn your high beam on. It's actually one of the best ways for you to be visible to not only the cars in front of you, but also the cars that you might be riding behind on the road. Make sure you are visible as possible out there, and also make sure you're not riding in blind spots. But unfortunately, accidents do happen even when you're doing the right things. This is where Law Tigers is there to help you. Law Tigers are part of the motorcycle riding community. They are there for you in the case of an accident. Your case evaluation with them is always free, and they don't get paid until your case settles. So make sure you call Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Again, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. You can always visit them online, lawtigers.com.
Get ready.
Concepcion touchdown, 13 yards. NC State leads North Carolina with 8:01 to play.
College football kicks off August 23rd.
Jones a first down and more. 10-5. They've tied the game. Bully ball by the Duke offense. Down the far sideline. Caught at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Carolina.
On 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon. You wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Open the lid on a carton of Bluebell Homemade in the Shade, and you'll have it made, so to speak. It's a combination of our top-selling homemade vanilla ice cream with a swirl of rich chocolate fudge sauce. Enjoy an instant classic.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Walmart Supercenters and Walmart Neighborhood Markets.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. One of you is going to benefit from, I guess, a lazy listenership on a Friday. We have a line still open, 919-860-5326. Call in right now, and you might get yourself some Jason Aldine tickets. Coastal Credit Union Music Park, August 21st. 919-860-5326. Call in right now, and you might just jump straight to the front of the line. We already have Zach in Raleigh. He's waiting patiently, and we need somebody to compete against him. 919-860-5326.
Something about every time I produce this show,
it is
just scares the
unbelievable.
callers away.
They don't like you, Max. All right, he's got the phone picked up. It is crazy. I mean, we almost never have an open line when Max isn't here, but we do quite often when Max is here. You guys don't like Max? You're afraid of him? All right, he's getting a name here. We have TJ and Zach on the lines ready to participate. I'll ask the same question to both, and they'll give their answer. And Max will be the judge. Pick his favorite. That person will get to go first. Zach and Raleigh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. The question for today is, since it's a Friday, What are you looking forward to most about the weekend upcoming? And because we're a sports show, keep it sports related. So I guess what are you looking forward to most sports related about this upcoming weekend?
I'm ready mainly for this Panthers game tonight, and then I guess to talk about the Panthers game with a couple of my buddies that we're playing golf tomorrow morning. So excited to analyze that on the course tomorrow.
All right. If you are playing to the judge, that's a pretty good one. That sounds exactly what Max would love to be doing this weekend. If you would have just thrown in like a conversation about the Canes and the Hornets, he would have been all in. That brings us to TJ and Raleigh. TJ, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now we're good. The question for today is, looking forward to this weekend, right? It's a Friday, starting your weekend. What are you most looking forward to about the weekend, but keep it sports related since we're a sports show?
Looking forward to seeing the Cowboys play the Rams tomorrow.
All right, more preseason football. Are you a Cowboys fan?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. How about them boys?
All right, for fantasy football purposes, who's going to be your starting running back?
Oh, man. Look. We just going to go with Derrick Henry.
You're going to trade. Okay. I like it. Max, are we going with the Cowboys game tomorrow or Panthers tonight and golf tomorrow?
We are going to have coverage of that Cowboys game here on the Fan tomorrow. So, he's playing the company line well, but obviously a Panthers game and a round of golf, it's hard to beat that. So I'm going to go with Zach.
All right, Zach and Raleigh gets to go first. TJ and Raleigh, don't worry, you'll have your chance to stay on the line, and you'll have your chance after a little bit of hold. Zach, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories are NFL Johnson & Johnson, all players whose last name is Johnson. NFL ACC pros since 2020, so players in the NFL that played in the Atlantic Coast Conference this decade, since the 2020 season. NBA players with early August birthdays, all active players in this category, and NHL Hurricanes only.
I'm going to go Johnson.
Okay. These are players, NFL players, all with the last name Johnson. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Jalen Johnson, Chicago Bears.
Jalen Johnson?
Correct.
Pass.
Deontay Johnson, Carolina Panthers.
19.
Incorrect. Lane Johnson, Philadelphia Eagles.
25.
What was that?
25.
Incorrect. Jalen Johnson, Chicago Bears.
20.
Incorrect. Deontay Johnson, Carolina Panthers.
18.
That's a 0, but by way of a tie, you could still win, right? Because tie goes to whoever goes first. Jalen Johnson, for those of you playing at home, number 1 or number 33 for the Bears. Deontay Johnson for the Panthers, number 5. I don't know why. I'm never going to be able to forget that. He was on the Panthers for like 6 weeks, it felt like. But they had from Bryce Young to Deontay Johnson, they called it 9 to 5. And that's going to be stuck in my brain forever. Lane Johnson with the Eagles, all-pro, tackle 65 is what we were looking for. Unfortunately, it's a 0, but fortunately for Zach, again, stay on hold. You still might walk away with the win, depending on what TJ does, okay?
Good deal.
All right, let's bring up TJ and Raleigh. TJ, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, you only need 1 to get the win. Are you ready to pick a category?
Oh, man, that's it? Okay, I'm ready.
All right. NFL players that have played in the ACC in college since 2020. NBA players with early August birthdays that are active players, so they're still in the league. Or NHL players, Hurricanes only.
The NBA players, August.
Okay, NBA players that are active and were born in early August. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. You need at least 1 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves.
5.
Correct. John Morant, Memphis Grizzlies.
1.
Incorrect. DeMar DeRozan, Sacramento Kings.
10.
Correct. Kristaps Porzingis, Boston Celtics.
9.
Incorrect. John Morant, Memphis Grizzlies.
1.
Incorrect. Kristaps Porzingis, Boston Celtics.
6.
Incorrect. John Morant, Memphis Grizzlies.
12.
Correct. Dariq Whitehead, Brooklyn Nets. Hey, you got 3. That is plenty for the win. Congratulations. Get yourself some Jason Aldine tickets.
Hey, thank you.
Go ahead and stand the line. Max has some info he needs to grab from you to make sure you get your tickets, but you are the winner.
I appreciate the tell.
There you go. See, when I tell you that there's an open line and to call in and you might walk away with some tickets, it's exactly what I mean. Called in 5 minutes later. He's got free concert tickets coming at him later this month. Anthony Edwards, by the way, with the Timberwolves, we would have accepted 1 or 5. Both would have been correct answers. John Morant, 12 was the number he couldn't quite come up with. He got DeRozan with 10. He got Porzingis. Oh, no, he didn't get Porzingis. So did I say he got 3? He only got 2? Is that what we're looking at? Either way, it was enough for the win. Porzingis was 8. So he was in the right ballpark with 9 and 6, but he didn't quite get there. And then Dariq Whitehead was 0. That's the number, but didn't have much chance. Didn't have much time for that one. Oh, no, he ended up getting Morant, right? There you go. That's the 3 I was counting. It's a Friday. We're powering through. But either way, TJ and Raleigh with the win. And for those of you interested, country music fans out there, Jason Aldine is coming to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on August 21st. All right, I think we have all our bases covered. Let me see. Wait, one more. I went to the wrong page. Yep. Play still suspended in the FedEx St. Jude Championship. We'll try to keep you updated on that one. I doubt they will be playing any today, but again, we'll let you know. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have to send you into the weekend the right way. We'll be making some picks. Coming up next, don't go anywhere.
Move your sports day forward.
A public service announcement on the dangers of hopium. Yes, hopium, a powerful substance before a season starts. Every NFL fan gets a taste, especially with the Carolina Panthers, where it seems continuity has created a side effect: the use of the word playoffs. One piece of advice: until they lead the division, just say no.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime, and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Oh, it's perfect, all right.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Juice box. I'm a mom.
I'm good, seriously.
Let me check. Oh, hot sauce. Take it.
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. A balloon. Wait one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 per month on Experience Beyond. Finance agreement $829.99 and qualifying ported. For well-qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay out via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's been a good week. It's been a good off season. We've been waiting a long time. Long time. Very long time. I feel like I should say it again. Really, really just long time for football to be back, and it is tonight. Max, you mentioned that we have the Dallas game on tomorrow here on 99.9 The Fan. Can you just give a rundown of where all the football will be if you have it in front of you somewhere?
Just all the NFL games?
And on our, not all of the games, but the ones that are at least going to be on one of our family of networks?
Right. So here on The Fan, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. is going to be the Cowboys and the Rams. And then, obviously, tonight, Panthers game, preseason opener against the Cleveland Browns. That's going to be on our sister station, Mix 101.5. Pre-game coverage will be right after the conclusion of this show. It starts at 6, kickoff at 7.
There you go. So there's real football to be listened to. Again, take it with a grain of salt. It is preseason, and obviously not as nearly as consequential as regular season games. But there is something you can learn. There is little things you can look for. If they weren't important, teams wouldn't play them, and they darn sure wouldn't play their starters in them like the Panthers are going to do tonight. With that being said, it is time to play a little making of picks. It's time to make our picks, I should say. So, Max, line them up. What are we picking?
I was talking into a closed microphone. All right, so starting out here, this news came down a few days ago here locally in the Triangle. The North Carolina Courage kind of unexpectedly suddenly fired their coach, Sean Nahas, Wednesday night. Never really alluded to why. Said it was a multitude of reasons.
Multitude of factors.
Sorry, I don't want to misspeak. It's very interesting because they're 9th in the table NWSL. With the new format, used to be, I believe, top 6 teams used to make playoffs. Now top 8 make it. So they're one spot out. They're actually tied on points with the team in 8th, Gotham City FC. But they're in the middle of this playoff push. There's still a good bit of the season left, mid-season firing, but they're going to be on the road tonight. They're in Houston taking on the Houston Dash, who are down in 12th. So do you think they get the interim manager bump and get the win tonight in Houston?
Yeah, I said this yesterday. I do consider myself pretty knowledgeable on a lot of sports. Played them, watched them, studied them, covered them, talked with people that are much smarter than me, and a lot of them. Soccer is one of those that I at best am a casual fan. At worst, I'm like a dummy when it comes to soccer. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know the ins and outs of the tactical decisions that were being made under the prior regime, and if they change this, whatever, something or another for the next one. If I had to take over a soccer team, it would be very Ted Lasso-like, in that I'd be up there going like, ooh, what's that play called? What's that rule? You'd have to break them down. You have to go like the Houston Dash are like the Jets. All right. Like that kind of deal. But I do know a little bit about what it's like being on a team, and you do get, like you kind of said, the interim manager bump, right? It's when a coach gets fired and a beloved assistant takes over, you want to rally around that coach, right? You want them to maybe have a chance at the next to get the permanent job, or you want to at least, not make it miserable for them. Because if you play horribly, everybody goes, "Oh wow, coaching." The coach really took a step down. So I think they'll go aggressive. What are they? 5-5-4. So 5 wins, 5 losses, 4 draws.
Yeah, 5-4-5. But I don't understand how this. I've never understood if the soccer notation is the ties
5
and losses.
wins, 5 losses, and 4 ties.
Yes.
Well, however you want to put them, whatever order you want to put them in, go nuts. Yeah, I think they get above 500. I think they win the game. I think they get the bump. I don't know if they'll be a better team moving forward, but for one game, I think they get a little extra juice and go play hard.
They are somewhat favored there with soccer, soccer betting. They have the three-way betting, but they're plus 115. Houston is plus 180, and draw is plus 230. So the book's favoring the Courage to win this. Now, the line has moved since the firing. They had opened as minus 130 money line favorites, and now it's slightly on the plus side, plus money, but still favored to win. They had played Houston somewhat recently and beaten them too. So
all right, so Houston, your enemy number 1, going down.
I guess so. We'll go over the golf course. We've been discussing it a little bit today. We're mid-second round of the FedEx St. Jude Championship, part of the FedEx Cup playoffs.
And we're further than mid, I would say.
Towards the end of the second round.
4/5 of the way through, something like that.
Still a good amount of golfers out there on the course, but mostly, if not all, in the back 9. Tommy Fleetwood in the lead at 13 under. The next golfers tied for second at 9 under. It's Justin Rose, Akshay Bhatia, and Colin Morikawa. Scotty Scheffler, world number 1, lurking at 7 under, 6 shots back as of now. Who do you like for the weekend in Memphis at the St. Jude Championship?
As far as golfers that I like, every golf fan, if you're a golf nerd out there, you know what I'm about to, you'll agree with me. Every golf fan has your golfers. There's like 5 or 6 golfers you just like. And you're invested in them, right? You might gamble on them a little bit more. But really they're just like your squad. It's kind of in the absence of a team sport where you have a favorite team with a bunch of players on it, you just kind of grab guys that you gravitate towards. Then there's the picks you make each week, right? Especially if you're a gambler, right? Then you're all in on those guys because, you saw a stat or you saw something that made you think they're good. They're course horse, whatever it is. As far as players that aren't anything to me, they're not one of my guys, and I have not gambled on them. I don't know if there's any of that other category that I would be happier for to see them win than Tommy Fleetwood. Fleetwood's never been one of my dudes, just for whatever reason. Seems like a nice guy. He caddies for his stepson on the junior tours, which is kind of cool. Good hair. I don't know. I don't. He's not my guy, but he seems like a nice guy. He has been on tour as one of the 20 best golfers forever, and he's never won a tournament. For PGA tournament, he's won European Tour tournaments. He is 13 under par, 4 strokes clear of the field in the clubhouse. Some guys out there that are chasing him are having to deal with delays and everything. If it does feel like one of those if not now when moments. So I'm gonna ride the overwhelming favorite, right? He's got the lead. Give me Tommy Fleetwood to hold on through the weekend. He's gonna be the leader after each round and not quite wire to wire, but close.
All right, we'll go with we'll save the Panthers for the that'll be the final pick. We'll do one other NFL preseason matchup.
Darn right.
And let's see one of the teams here that has actually already played. The Detroit Lions taking on the Atlanta Falcons also tonight at 7 p.m. Lions did not look great in that Hall of Fame game, but again, there's only so much you can garner off of that. Detroit actually a 3.5-point favorite in the game against Atlanta tonight. Who do you got in that one?
All right, I'm going to do one quick search here. Are the Falcons playing their starters?
That's a good question.
That's all I need to know. If the Falcons are playing their starters, I think the Falcons win. In the preseason, this may sound ridiculous. In the preseason, I overwhelmingly go for the team who is less accomplished. I think they take it a bit more seriously. They want to go win. The younger, the less proven. The Lions are kind of in Carolina Hurricanes territory, where it's like you've kind of, which is crazy to say about the Lions. They've kind of done everything you can do in the regular season, right? It's about how you perform in the postseason now. They got to try to get over the hump and win kind of the conference, win some playoff games. So I don't think the preseason really gets their juices flowing. Granted, they did play bad in the Hall of Fame game, and I'm sure Dan Campbell didn't like that, so maybe they'll come out with a little extra pep. But the Falcons, on the other hand, they're like fully improvement mode, right? Like everybody on that roster is kind of highly drafted and talented, but unproven. So I think they're going to be a little bit jazzed up. They're going to be jacked up to go play. I think the Falcons win if their starters play.
Per quick research on X, formerly known as Twitter, both coaches have stated most starters will not play.
Okay, then if it's a fair fight, I'm still taking the Falcons. Because the Falcons with unproven starters, guys would think, hey, I'm going to go get that spot. If you're behind somebody on the Lions starters, you're behind somebody on the Lions starters. They paid darn near everybody. So yeah, I'm taking the Falcons if all else is normal.
All right, so we'll close things out, head into the weekend with Carolina Panthers taking on the Cleveland Browns. Preseason opener tonight. Panthers are favored pretty heavily. Dave Canales has said, as we've said many times on this program, starters expected to play a series or two. Browns not expected to play a lot of starters, but Shedeur Sanders will be starting at quarterback for Cleveland. What do you make of this game? What do you expect to see tonight? And what can we glean from it as we continue to move through the preseason?
I think the Panthers win. Or at least I'd say they're ahead at half. The second half of preseason games can get a little crazy because you just don't know who's going to be playing and even if they've gotten reps in practice. But yeah, it is a situation where if you care enough to play your starters and they don't, you should take pride in looking like the significantly better team when your starters are on the field and their starters aren't. And you shouldn't be okay with, winning by a little. You should want to look dominant. Right? It's for lack of a better term, it's, halfway through high school training camp and the coach wants you to scrimmage somebody. So it's all right. We're going to bring the JV up for a day and y'all are going to scrimmage. Like, the varsity team shouldn't be okay with anything other than pure dominance. And that's no disrespect to the Cleveland backups, but they're the Cleveland backups. And then secondly, let's not act like the Cleveland starters are the scariest bunch in the league. So their backups couldn't even crack that starting lineup. And then on top of that, like at a pretty crucial position like quarterback, they're down to their fourth string because Joe Flacco is 40 and he doesn't need extra reps. And then Kenny Pickett is hurt. Dylan Gabriel is hurt. So they're rolling with Shedeur Sanders and brand newly signed Tyler Snoop Huntley. You should win this one. And you are, again, at half. Secondly, if Bryce Young plays 12 snaps, then you go to your second. Who's that? Andy Dalton? Andy Dalton should be in the preseason looking dominant, right? He should be out there just with his mind smoking everybody, just like I would have expected from Joe Flacco if he were going to play. Like, they've seen everything 10 times. Joe Person of The Athletic, who actually covers the Panthers, and he's there, he said Andy Dalton and Joe Flacco are catching up during pregame. That's a 37-year-old and a 40-year-old quarterback just talking about probably how it used to be. Remember 2010? Remember Troy Polamalu? Yeah, that guy, he used to give us a hard time, huh? Like, those guys have played against those guys.
Remember when we used to play against Brian Urlacher and
yeah. Well, I was just talking
Ed Reed.
When Eagles and Ravens, they were in the same division, right? So they're going up against the Packers defenses like that the Steelers defenses like that every single year.
Harrison.
Remember James Harrison and James Ferrier.
Prime Ryan Shazier.
Yeah, like that group. Haha, that's great. All right, now we'll go watch these young guys play. Although I think Andy Dalton will get some run. So Andy Dalton, if it goes Bryce Young in the starters for 2 series, Andy Dalton in the second stringers for at least 2 series, you better walk away with points, and a lot of them on those 4 series. So yeah, I think the Panthers are winning at half. Second half, anything could happen. I hope Tetero McMillan gets a chance to earn more attention, right? Make a couple plays. I don't know if he will or not, but I hope they throw it up to him, right? Let him try to do something with it. And other than that, I'm looking for people to take position battles by the horns, right? I want to see a returner make a big play. I want to see somebody in the defensive secondary make a big play that's unexpected. I want to see a safety other than Trevon Merrick make a big play and potentially move their way to the front of the list to be that other starting safety. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Other than that, I mean, actually prior to that, health, right? You want everybody to stay healthy. I don't think this team has a ton of depth on either side of the ball, so you need everybody to stay healthy, but that goes without saying. Max, who are you picking?
Give me the Cats. Panthers win tonight.
There it is. You heard it.
Look, like you said, starters over backups.
You heard it from Max. I will say in the second half it could go crazy, right? If your fourth stringer that doesn't get reps in practice bites on a fake, what are you going to do? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to Max for keeping us up and running in lieu of Dennis. Max will be with us again on Monday, so tune in for that at 3. Enjoy football over the weekend and golf and everything else. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Chiefs would be going for their 4th Super Bowl in a row. And I'm just wondering if at some point that takes a toll on them. If at some point we see the carriage turn into a pumpkin. Not in a they're going to be bad and miss the playoffs type way, right. But just it's not the Arrowhead Invitational. It's not Patrick Mahomes wakes up and he's in the AFC Championship game and they automatically go to the Super Bowl.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and so much more when you join today. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage and do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 convenient locations.